Saturdays sitting down and watching that intro, the agony of defeat.
Yes.
You know, and that guy wiping out off the downhill jump. And,
yes.
And I remember watching it, and then, of course, there they would come, Jim McKay and all those guys in there.
Right.
And I don't even know what the sport was. This week it's curling. Next week it's bobsledding. The other week it's the Harlem Globetrotters. It didn't matter. Like, it was the wide world of sports, and those gold jackets have such a rich tradition and history that I'm sure Howard Cosell is rolling over in his grave because it's like, Rob Riggle, who?
No.
Is wearing what?
That guy Riggle shouldn't even put that on. Who does he think he is? No, actually, we had Rob. We had Al Michaels the other day. I asked him the wildest event he covered for Wide World of Sports. He said Germany motorcycles on ice, and he did. And by the way, that sounds like a Mad Lib, but that actually happened, and Al covered that. So holy moly's in good company is essentially what I'm saying.
Good.
That's what I'm saying.
And I wonder if the German motorcycles on ice is still happening, because I'd like to get in on that.
You know what? Chris Brockman
I'm
would bet
betting on that too. Yeah, don't worry.
Gunther on the pocket rocket. He's got it.
In the third race tonight, I'm down.
That's right. He's in. Hey, Rob, thanks for calling in. It's always great catching up with you.
So great to talk to you as always, man. Thanks for having me.
You're the man. That's Rob
See you,
Riggle.
buddy.
At Rob Riggle on Twitter and Instagram. I follow him on both. You should too. Season 2 of Holy Moly premieres tonight, 9 Eastern on ABC. And hey, when you're on an overnight shoot and it's 4 in the morning, I've done it. I did that on The Great Escape. We would shoot overnight on The Great Escape on TNT. My one and done experience being a reality competition host where I was trying to be mysterious in my bomber jackets and all that stuff. It was a fun show.
Fun show.
But it's 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. You're overnight. You have no idea. You know what I could have used at the time? A shot of Tessitore. A little shot of Tessitore. By the way,
Shot of Tessitore's a good name.
That's pretty good.
That's a great
a
name.
good fantasy name. I could have used a shot of Tessitore.
Or was that like a Grateful Dead song?
A shot of Tessitore?
A little shot of Tessitore?
No, it's Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd.
Yes.
Shot of Tessitore.
So actually, and then they decided, let's just go with momentary lapse of reason.
Exactly.
For our
Change the album.
For our album. Maybe that's what we'll do. What a show.
I mean, my cheeks hurt.
I mean, yeah.
What a show.
So
It
much
all comes out. I
laughing
don't know what my foot made me laugh harder today was the senior technology advisor concept that the NFL is positing through their franchises in Baltimore and one of them in Los Angeles, Chargers and Ravens, saying, let's add something called a senior technology advisor to the referee to assist the officiating crew. I don't know if there's a junior technology advisor or the senior to the assistant to the senior technology advisor to the referee, which one would be the Costanza role most. I don't know if it's that or the Ryan Fitzpatrick photograph. I mean,
It's glorious, man.
is there any product or you just wake up that way? Because I am jealous as a man who is follically challenged and attempting to grow a beard. This just means, it is exactly like if you're like, draw me up a quarterback who will not tank, refuses to tank, the anti-tank quarterback who does not see a window that he doesn't think he can needle thread, who does not look at the coverage where it says, I don't go there, but I'm going there. Draw me up that quarterback.
That's what he looks like.
Boom. Boom. God bless you, Ryan Fitzpatrick. God bless you. Oh, we will see you on Friday's edition of the Rich Eisen Show. Don't you dare miss that one. Yeah, we'll see you this latest quarterback inheritance.
Party from the comfort of your own home with BPM's This Dance Festival. Enjoy 3 days of dance music's biggest headliners from their homes. Exclusive, never-before-heard sets from elite headliners like Marshmello, Afrojack, Steve Aoki, and more. Hosted by the Chainsmokers. BPM's This Dance Fest. Listen throughout the weekend starting tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. SiriusXM, Channel 51. Or listen at home with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or however you stream in the house.
Whether you're working remotely, taking web classes, binge watching TV, or gaming, Dell is here to help you find the right tech. From XPS and Alienware computers that are redefining what's possible with 10th Gen Intel Core processors to the latest top brand electronics, our seamless tech solutions will help keep you connected. Plus, get free shipping. Call us today at 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
This is a reenactment of an actual experience.
Hi, come on in.
Is Ruby around?
No Ruby here. What do you have there? Cookies?
Macarons. Just made them for your receptionist. We just love working with her.
Well, we don't actually have a receptionist here. Ruby is our remote receptionist service.
Oh, I see. Well, it's just that we made these macarons for her, so...
Tell you what, let's call Ruby.
Great idea.
Hey, she'll know what to do.
We're Ruby, the remote receptionist who answers all your calls live from right here in the U.S. We take messages, answer questions, route calls, everything an in-house receptionist does over the phone, only better. Because we specialize in turning every ring into a relationship. Experience Ruby for yourself. Visit Ruby.com, or better yet, call us 866-GET-RUBY.
Hi, this is Ben Midgley, CEO of Crunch Franchising. You've been hearing a lot about Crunch Fitness from some big names in media. Forbes, CNBC, Entrepreneur, Inc., CNN Money, Fox, The Huffington Post, and many more. We are a different kind of franchise company. We focus on staying small to grow large. That means we have fewer franchisees that own more health clubs. This allows us to stay nimble and lead our industry rather than react to it. At Crunch, you get the two fastest growing segments in fitness under one roof. High value, low price memberships, and a boutique fitness experience. Combine that with being the #1 national chain in the space, and you're in great shape. And finally, Franchise Business Review ranked us the #1 franchise in the fitness category for franchisee satisfaction. That's an anonymous survey done only by franchise owners, so you know it's good. So if you're looking for a great opportunity in an even better industry, then check us out today at crunch.com. That's crunch.com.
The Tony Bruno Show.
Tony Bruno and Harry Mays on SiriusXM Channel 211. I might be the only sports host who was hired during the no sports lockdown, which clearly means I'm an essential service. Join me Monday through Friday, where we help you escape the monotony and bring a little levity and entertainment into your lives. Great interviews, lots of laughs. We will bring you everything you need and want to know.
Catch new episodes of The Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays. Weekday afternoon starting at 3 Eastern on Dan Patrick Radio Channel 211 and the SiriusXM app.
Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
The Tony Bruno Show.
The man chosen to save American radio from its horrible future.
He didn't invent radio. He just perfected it.
Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays.
Parental discretion is advised.
The godfather of sports radio. It is a final. Here is Tony Bruno. Tony Bruno.
I'm bouncing already. Almost busted the studio up. And we're not even started yet. Hello there, kiddies. It is a thirsty throwback Thursday. Tony Bruno, Harry Mays, Miss Robin, welcoming you all in. And you know what we do on a thirsty Thursday, Harry? Luckily, I got some Corona Premiers with very little carbs.
Right.
You know 2.6,
I believe.
That's good. Although, I don't want to get into the keto stuff. It's boring. Let's get into the good stuff. Because you know what it is, Harry? Not just Thirsty Thursday. Today is the day we can sit here and say, I feel like I'm rhyming every day, and I'm not even good at this. We have a date. We have a date. A very important date. You know what that date is, Harry? June 1st. Now, it's not June 1st yet. It is May 21st. And come Monday, it'll be all right because it'll be Memorial Day. But a week from Monday, June 1st, is the day that we are going to start seeing the light at the end of the sports tunnel. We already have sports, as you know. But you know what we're going to be getting, Harry? Come June 1st? We're going to be getting closer and closer and closer as Grand Funk once sang.
Getting closer
to my sports.
Now, are you buying this? Obviously, you're excited about this, as am I. But
because we're positive every day.
Right. Well, we try to be. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, I vacillate from positivity to a little bit. I get a little down sometimes. But you're saying that within, because I'm just going to put a new countdown clock in my.
Put the new countdown. I'm not saying sports is starting. I'm saying June 1st is an important date.
Right. No, I get that. 10 days and 9 hours.
They're good with those countdown clocks.
Well,
so Harry now
it's
has
a nice app. I don't do anything except put in the numbers.
So you just put in the date?
You put in the date at the time, and then you call it whatever you want to call it.
Well, I don't know what time on June 1st.
Well, I mean, June 1st starts midnight.
No, but you can't put midnight because I don't believe the commissioner is going to get up at midnight
but that's June
and
1st.
Call all the NBA players. They'll already be up rolling around.
Yeah, they'll be up. They haven't even gone to bed from May 31st yet, Tony. So they'll still be up. He could just text them.
Exactly. So, June 1st.
Right.
The
Tony,
NBA.
You can do that, too.
What do you want me to put, 8 o'clock in the morning?
No, make it noonish.
Noonish?
No, but nobody's giving a news. Nobody's making an announcement at 8 o'clock in the morning, Harry. Come on.
Well, I mean, I have.
This is the NBA. And again, it's not even an announcement that's being made. It's the day that Adam Silver, according to the great Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski at ESPN,
right,
will lay out a, quote, return to play rules and regulation scenario for the National Basketball Association, Monday, June 1st.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's positive news.
Yeah, that's great.
It doesn't mean they're going to start playing. And now, according to the story, games, he hopes, will happen sometime before the end of July.
Okay.
So basketball is going ahead. Looks like they're making plans. They're doing everything that's safe, and that's why they had taking all this time, because they're doing it right. And they're talking about, the Disney World thing that we've talked about before, talking about Vegas.
Vegas and Orlando. Yeah.
Everybody's loving the Orlando thing.
Well, because there's a lot of accommodations there.
Yeah, they got 1 million hotels.
And they got basketball courts.
Exactly right. And they got rides, which is all I care about, actually. And then I can go into Club 33 up there. And then we can go up and visit Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen brain.
Yeah, but you'll have to sign a waiver.
I'll sign anything.
Okay.
Just as long as I don't have to stand in line. You know what I mean?
Well,
I want
you got that
privilege.
pass thing
I got my magic pass.
Yeah.
I got the magic stick, too, Harry, but that's for another show, maybe tomorrow on the Big Friday extravaganza. So that's basketball.
Okay.
Then how about NCAA action? Because what organization is more maligned in this country than the National Collegiate Athletic Association, generally by everybody? There's virtually no one that loves the NCAA because they don't get anything right.
No, you're right.
When it comes to taking care of the kids, keeping them from making money. Now they finally gave in and said they can use their images to sell stuff.
Are they our version of the IOC?
Yeah,
and
the
the
NCAA,
FIFA and all that kind of stuff? It's like
close, yeah.
Yeah.
They're right there. So even the NCAA, Harry, has put down June 1st on their calendar. Can you put down an NCAA countdown clock, too? No, there's a lot of things. June 1st seems to be the big day. The big day. The NCAA has voted to lift a ban on-campus training for member schools, of course, and athletic programs. June 1st, the student-athletes will be able to go onto their campuses and start working out and training at their facilities.
Okay.
That's another positive, right?
That's big, yeah.
That doesn't mean college football college football doesn't start till late August. They'll probably postpone it to the fall, whatever. If it starts in September, everybody will be happy, right?
Well, yeah, as long as it starts and has a season. I don't care if it doesn't start until November.
Exactly.
They could play till February for all I care. I just want the season.
And how about this at the Ohio State University?
I saw this.
They haven't put June 1st on the calendar, but what they said is they're now looking at models, not the European models that we always look at for weather. And I always love looking at I'm more looking at the Latino ones, not the European models. A lot of those chicks are skinny.
Okay.
You got to go down to like the great weather women down in South and Central America. Mexico.
You go there, I'll go to Eastern Europe and the Russian bloc. Okay?
You go wherever you want to get your models.
Exactly.
I usually get my models for free and my money for nothing. So they're looking at models that would allow 20,000 or more fans to attend football games in the fall at the Horseshoe, Harry.
Yeah, now that's over 100,000 seat stadium, and the potential is from 20 to 50,000 fans. They even have one model that gets them up near 50, which would be pretty cool.
And there'll be I don't know if that's counting Instagram models who will probably be in attendance at most of these events, looking for young student athletes to hook up with.
Right.
Although they prefer the rich guys already in professional
Well, Ohio
sports.
State players basically are rich because that's basically NFL, light. They're all going to the draft.
Exactly
okay?
right. Yeah, you got to start early.
Yeah.
It's like mining the miners.
Get in early. It's like recruiting.
Mining the minors.
Hey,
Remember that was a segment, Mining the Miners. And you check out all the minor league players and what they're doing and their all their stats and their OPPs and all that stuff. So that's good news. So Ohio State's looking away. Meanwhile, down at the big house, and we should get the hombre on. We got to get the hombre back on,
he's
the daily
due.
hombre.
He's due.
Because he's a Michigan apologist, as you well know, Harry.
When do you want him?
Well, I'm going to have him right now, but we don't have time for him right now. At Michigan, in the big house, Harry, forget about putting people in the big house. Jim Harbaugh, your coach for the Michigan Wolverines, said, hey, I'm good with playing with no fans, and it's better than not playing at all.
You could definitely test both teams. You could test the officials and everybody. Can you test 100,000 fans coming into a stadium? Probably not. That's probably not without a vaccine. You probably couldn't do that. So, yeah, to answer your question, heck yeah, I'd be comfortable coaching a game without any fans. If the choice were play or in front of no fans or not play, then I would choose play in front of no fans. And I think most of the darn near every guy I've talked to on our team, that's the way they feel about it.
Now, that coming from the guy that has to make a trip to the Horseshoe this year to play at Ohio State. So I'm sure he'd love an empty Horseshoe because then maybe he could stand a chance to beat Ohio State.
Oh, Harry playing the anti-Michigan guy. Are you a Michigan hater, Harry?
No, it's just facts.
And that's all we do on the show.
Yeah.
Because we get some facts and then you come back and see me later on. As the great, I believe we have Jim Calhoun commenting on that.
Get some facts and come back and see me.
Exactly. That's what we try to do on the show. And we'll come back tomorrow when we get more facts. So that's the good news, because that's what we're looking for on the show. Well, everybody else is trying to tell everybody how to think, what the stats say, what science says, what your governor says, when you can go this place, when you can go that place. We don't make those decisions here. We just give you the positive stuff. You want negativity? You want to argue about Carson Wentz versus Nick Foles for the 75,000th time just to make the phones ring? Go right ahead. We're not going there. We don't go there on this show, Harry.
I think I would have called out sick.
If you had to do that?
Yes.
And again, this is not a knock. This is just the difference because you and I have done local radio. The difference between doing local radio and doing this show is that we don't have to beat the same topics to death every day.
Thank God.
And we know how it works.
I know.
There's not a lot to talk about.
No, there isn't.
You want to get the phones to ring, and when you throw out Carson Wentz versus Nick Foles, it's like the old days before Pete Rose and the whole gambling thing was finally settled, and he admitted that he gambled. It was one of those evergreens, we call them. Hey, there's not much going on. We got to get the phones today. We're getting close to a big weekend. I
want an easy show.
I don't want to do 5 hours of show prep, Harry. Come on. What can we throw out there today? Carson Wentz versus Nick Foles. Let's go to the phones. That's what's going on out there, Harry. And I, for one, thank God and thank my Lucky Charms. Even though I can't eat Lucky Charms because even though they're magically delicious, too much sugar in there, as you know, Harry. So that's what's going on. We got football to talk about. We got a Dak Prescott update, Harry.
How about them Cowboys?
Dak, your thoughts? 5 years, $175 million just is not enough, baby.
Well,
what is that a year? I don't have a calculator.
$35 million a year, the last I counted. Okay, but he's eyeing somewhere in the area of 45 plus per year is what he wants. It's a negotiation.
I get that, and I understand how that works.
Right. It doesn't say. I looked this up a couple of different places. Out of that 175, I can't find out what is guaranteed.
Correct, because that's all that really matters up front.
Right.
You get that up front check. And then you say, okay, then I know I'm going to get at least $50 million up front.
Right.
And then if I play the whole 5 years, and he should play 5 years. I mean, he's still a young player.
Yeah, he should
So
be.
this isn't one of those preposterous 8-9 year deals
that he's never going to see the end of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want it all front loaded.
I hope he gets every penny that he wants. Because then that means that's less money for the Dallas Cowboys to spend on other players.
Screw their cap.
All right?
How about if he does get that, and then Aldon Smith, who just finally got a chance to play again and was allowed to come back into the NFL, hasn't played since 2015 through all kinds of issues. And he was a great player back in the Niner days. You remember that, Harry? Guy had 47.5 sacks in 59 games before he self-destructed for the most part. DUIs, drug and alcohol issues, all kinds of problems. And to his credit, he says, you know what? I've become a better man. I'm an overall better person. I know exactly what I've been through. I hope to be an inspiration to a lot of people. He's 30 years old, and so he'll get a chance to play again for the Dallas Cowboys because he sat out for 4 years.
Man, I forgot all about him.
I know, and you remember with the Niners, he was a beast.
Yeah.
And so there's, I like redemption stories. That's what this is all about. This show is a redemption story, Harry.
In more ways than one.
Not dead red redemption. That's what I believe the baseball players are playing today when they're thinking about not going out to work for a living like everybody else does. And we'll get to baseball because when we come back, Harry, we must. And it's not my style to criticize Major League Baseball, its players, its entities, its fan base. But I'm going to agree with my boy, Mad Dog Chris Russo. Enough is enough. Baseball players, shut the hell up and go outside. We'll talk baseball.
And we have a What's in the Box segment.
During the break, we are going to open it up.
No, we're going to open it up when we come back. Okay. Robin, just relax. Breathe. Let the show breathe. It's like a nice bottle of wine. You open it up, you let it breathe. You don't just pour it right into a glass.
I love how you both are down here since 9 a.m., and you haven't had that discussion yet.
I know.
No, it didn't come until later on.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, okay.
It came right before the show.
This just arrived.
To be fair.
It's fresh. We know it's not.
To be fair to Tony and
I guarantee you I know what that is.
You know what's in it's not a box.
No.
And it's not the money that fell off that mail truck the other day down there in Virginia with $1 million in cash. How do you know it feels like cash in there?
Yeah.
We're coming. We'll find out what's in the envelope today. It's been sitting on Funk and Wagnall's porch for the last 24 hours. We'll come right back and rip baseball, a new one, next. Stick around.
There was actually a reason I wanted to do it just in the Twitch.
Why?
Because I wanted to drive people to Twitch. So that if
I
they
ain't
wanted
driving
to see,
nobody anywhere. Who do I look like?
What's the guy? An Uber?
No, who's the guy in the
anybody
movie
on
Driving Miss Daisy?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
if
guys,
anybody on
Morgan
Sirius
Morgan Freeman.
I have some breaking news. This is 4 minutes old.
Uh-oh.
Victoria's Secret to close 250 stores in the U.S.
Exactly.
We've heard.
They've jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It just came out on 4.
That's why I always shop when
The
when
Me Too movement ruined them.
I've been
Yes, they
over
did.
Victoria's Secret since 9th grade.
Oh no, they make the best bras.
No, they don't.
Who
yes,
cares?
They do.
I don't want a bra.
Bra?
They make my.
How about a
You don't need one.
I want you out of the bra. Bra.
Yes, but they make them look really nice and perky while it's on until it ends up on the floor.
Will Phil Mickelson be wearing a Victoria's Secret bra this weekend?
A man's ear?
Yes.
Tony.
Well, they were better than Frederick's, right?
The reason I wanted to open it up during the break was if we said that we were opening it up only in the Twitch chat room, then it would drive people there so that they could see us opening it up. That was my thought
Everybody
process.
can see us opening it up, except the people who have radio and don't have Twitch. Hello?
Well, that's what.
Which would be me.
Listen, I'm not a big Victoria's Secrets to me jumped the shark. Victoria's Secret, why did she need to have a secret?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what's in there.
Victoria's Secret is she was a slut.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I was always a Fredericks of Hollywood
Why
guy.
should that be a secret?
I don't know.
I was
I'm
always
a big fan
Fredericks
of that.
guy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in L.A., I found the place that Joan, what's her face, the woman in Dynasty?
Joan Collins?
Joan Collins used to go to a place called Trashy. Did I ever take you to Trashy Lingerie?
No. Oh, is that you get emails from them still?
Yes, I still. And they're reopened. They reopened on Monday.
No.
Not to go in. Well, no, to go in, but you have to have a membership to get in.
Dude.
So this place became famous because, like, Joan Collins and all the Hollywood chicks would go in there, and they would close the door when Joan Collins and these big celebrities would go in
They'd
to buy
shut it down when they
buy their garter
yeah.
belts and their stockings and all the intimate apparel.
Dude.
And it's really like it's trashy lingerie. It's like slut stuff.
Yeah.
Which is what basically what guys want anyway.
Right.
They don't care if they don't care if your wife's buying a nice pair of panties.
Yeah.
So
you can buy panties anywhere.
Victoria's Secret is classy loose women, trashy lingerie is sluts.
Yeah.
And
corporate camisole.
What was the third one?
It's Fredericks of Hollywood.
Fredericks, they're whores.
Yeah.
Pretty
But
much.
Fredericks of Hollywood had the best catalog.
Best catalog. My mom used to get it.
They had the best catalog.
Yep.
Victoria's Secret. You know what it's like Victoria's Secret's the difference between going into the back room at West Coast Video and watching Cinemax at night. It's softcore versus the real deal. You know what I'm saying? That's where wimpy cuck guys would go in with their girlfriends and buy underwear.
Tony,
with them.
look at what B. Mitch 88 just wrote, and you tell him whether you agree with him or not.
B. Mitch, you should be thrown off the Twitch stream for that. Garter belts, complete waste. Are you serious right now? You know it's a complete waste and the worst invention ever made? Pantyhose. Pantyhose are the most unsanitary, unnecessary, waste of time. Finally, when Fredericks went with the crotchless pantyhose, they were the ones, Mr. Frederick himself. Not Steve Fredericks, of course. Steve-O.
God bless him.
My doctor
What was his line he used to say, Steve? No, he had some great lines.
My doctor recommended that I stop wearing pantyhose, that I only wear garters, and that if I had to wear pantyhose, that I cut the crotch out. Because he said it's healthier for you.
Is that
a great doctor?
The women out there listening,
man, I'm a big fan of his.
if you're a woman out there, and I know Beach Baby, we had a lot of females who listen and watch on the Twitch stream. I want you to go into your underwear drawer right now. You got a pair of pantyhose for your safety. This is for health reasons.
Yes.
Cut out the crotch and then make a face mask out of that, because that crotch face mask will be just as useful as a regular face mask that you're wearing.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
And during the break, we continued on the discussions at deep, deep levels, Harry, when the great correspondent who keeps eyes on the eyes, ears, nose, and throats. You know that guy right there wearing a Baldy's breakdown?
Canines?
That Pat Canines guy had breaking news from the consumer product department. Victoria's Secret. Now, are they shutting down completely? 250 stores, Victoria's Secret stores, are shutting down. Another victim of the Me Too movement, Harry.
Total outrage.
Or is it the coronavirus? Either one. I'm going to blame both.
Yeah.
And I got to say this. Listen, Robin and I have gone in there. Victoria's Secret says nice stuff. The chicks dig the bras and the panties. But the Victoria's Secrets, with all due respect, is basically the Cinemax of buying underwear. It's like when you go into West Coast Video in the back room when they had the DVDs versus when you watch a Cinemax movie.
Right.
It's just light. Guys can go into Victoria's Secrets
core.
with their wife or girlfriend or both and not feel uncomfortable.
Right.
If you go with your girlfriend or your wife into a Fredericks of Hollywood store, but they had the better catalog.
They had a great catalog when I was
Fredericks
a kid.
of Hollywood catalog blows away.
It was a great day when I'd get home before my mom and dad, and the mail was there, and that catalog was there. I'd get a good hour and a half.
By yourself?
And the best part is I knew a lot of the Victoria's Secret's models. There was one on the cover, and she signed them for me.
The last one name with the Seymour, Stephanie Seymour?
Not Stephanie Seymour. I did not know.
Oh, is she the one that married the singer?
Axl Rose.
No.
She wasn't with
married,
Axl Rose?
Not Bublé, the other guy.
No. She worked with me on the Best Damn Sports Show. She done talk radio, and she's the woman who is now being blamed for getting, what's his name, Al Franken, thrown out of Congress because she's a big she married a military man.
Yeah.
And then she was on a trip overseas, and then the famous picture of Al Franken supposedly playing around. Listen, I don't think he should have been thrown out for that. That's just my opinion. But she's the woman who helped shave my head on the Best Damn Sports Show, too.
Oh, she was in the Doritos commercial.
Yes.
No, not Allie Landry. Yeah, but she shaved it, but she helped.
Oh.
She helped.
Okay.
Anyway, Fredericks of Hollywood, Leanne Tweeden. Thank you, Bearcat.
Okay.
The great Leanne Tweeden. And so she was in there, always on the cover, and I have a signed Fredericks of Hollywood catalog with her on the front.
Nice.
Most people want like Michael Jordan rookie cards and all.
Right.
Not me. Give me a Leanne Tweeden Fredericks of Hollywood signed cover. In fact, I have something I found when Robin went to the storage unit to clean it out.
Yeah.
I got a personalized I got something especially for you and one for me that I completely lost track of. It was a Lisa Ann autographed calendar that she signed for us when we were with her in Atlantic City a few years ago.
And you have both of them?
Yeah, I don't know how I got them. They must have fell into my briefcase when we were leaving down in Atlantic City that day we spent with her.
We were
but
at
anyway,
the pool.
Yeah, I had both of them.
Okay.
And so they're upstairs in the office. So I'll bring it down during a break. But speaking of that, so we're talking about Fredericks of Hollywood and my favorite place in Los Angeles, as you know, Harry. You know what that is, right? Trashy lingerie. It's only one store. It's not a chain, and it's a store where because so many. We got to do what's in the box. So many lowlifes would go in there back in the day. When Joan Collins and all these celebrities would go in there to buy their slutty underwear because guys dug that stuff. Guys would go in there just to look around. And then they said, get these riffraff out of here. So you have a membership. You have to be a member to get in.
It's like by appointment only, probably, right?
But you know what the memberships are? $2.
That's
so
it?
I had a lifetime. I bought a lifetime membership before I moved.
So what would you just do? Make an appointment to go in there and look around?
No, I'd go in there with women and buy them stuff. If you whip out that, you say, excuse me while I whip this out. You have a membership card, and you got a hot woman, and you get in the door, and they say, yes, Mr. Bruno.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for you. And then they show you around, and the lady that you're with gets to pick out the
You never
fabulous,
have taken me there. He's in trouble now.
I want to show you that thing I wanted to show you last time you were in, Mr. Bruno, and the girl looks at you like, what? When were you here last, and who with who?
We got something picked especially for you this time. Come on in the back. And then they open a big door in the back, like John Wick when he went into the movies and was picking out the armaments in the wine room. Remember? You didn't see the John Wick movies. No. What's the matter with you? But anyway, here's the box. Not a box, it's an envelope.
Right.
I don't believe it's any Fredericks of Hollywood product in
No,
here.
but it's priority mail, though, Tom.
It is priority mail. This is $7.75
Right.
postage spent by one of the friends of our show. The great Ed Nasta, because his name's on the envelope, who the sender is.
Well, our guy, Mike Rainey, he's got to send his kid to college. You got to pay, big, money for stamps these days.
That's all right, man. I support the Postal Service. Now, let's see what's inside. Harry, I'm going to give you the honors, because Harry said he knows what's in there, and I don't. I have no idea. I just unsheathed it.
He's taking an educated guess.
Yes, because the person who sent it, I saw a week or so ago.
Is it his underwear? Did he send us his underwear?
It better not be. Did
he send us cash?
He was wearing one of these and said that...
A garter belt?
No. Tito's scarves.
No, are they scarves or face masks or both?
You can use it for, like bandanas. They're like a bandana.
And it is a Tito's Thursday, by the way.
Right.
And it is a... I can't open this, Robin. Can you rip
Ed
this
was wearing one of these, as
Was he holding up a liquor store?
No,
he works in the liquor store.
I was holding up the liquor store, and he was merely facilitating the product to my car.
Oh, I got to open this baby. Now, can I wear this on the show? Does it match with my pissed Phillies shirt today, Harry? You remember these shirts?
Yeah, I
they were
do.
A couple
I
years
have
ago.
one of those. I have one of those,
And
too.
I am pissed because we'll get into this. And thank you, Ed, for the Tito's vodka, homemade, handmade.
Handmade.
Put this baby on now.
Yeah.
I'll go out and I'll fit right in Philadelphia. I'll just go out and start holding up 7-Elevens and Wawas.
I don't think you're going to be able to do the show with it, but it
Let's
does
see.
look,
Does it work?
does look nice.
You have to do it underneath the
How
microphone.
does it sound better now like that? Sound a little muffled?
Yeah, you need to do it underneath the microphone.
I don't know how to tie this stuff anyway. I'll just drink the Tito's later on.
Robin, you got to tie it for him.
I'll just add it to my list of things
Tito,
I do
as
for
the
him.
great Caleb, our intern, Caleb Matumbo, says on the Twitch stream, Tito's Day is any day that ends in a Y, Harry.
That's true.
Exactly right, young man. And that's a young man who's
Oh, there's a note in here, too.
Oh, there's a note?
Yeah, there's a note.
Hang on, before we get to baseball, Major League Baseball. Tony, Harry, Robin, here's the 3 Tito's bandages that I got through eBay. Have a fun day. So he actually had to buy these through eBay, even though he works for the Pennsylvania State Liquor Control Board system.
I didn't know that.
I guess they don't get these in the stores as employees.
Wow.
So these are specially purchased online from the Tito shop. Not the Tony Bruno shop, which you can get to and get all the quality product in there at TonyBrunoShow.com. And go look in the shop, new T-shirts, all kinds of great stuff. So anyway, let's get it back.
How's this?
I like
There
it,
you go.
Robin.
Yeah. See, I even folded it correctly so you can see Tito's on it.
Right.
Yes, I like to see other
Product
stuff
placement.
besides Tito's on there when a woman's wearing. Anyway, let's get it back to baseball, Harry, because I think we're all starting to feel the same way. We like baseball. We want baseball. Baseball, to me, every story that you read now, even the teams, the players, everybody thinks that 57-page, 67-page list is ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my great friends And a guy who really loves baseball is one Christopher Russo of Mad Dog Radio on SiriusXM, his own channel up there.
Well, yeah, and he also does the High Heat show on MLB Network.
So
right?
his job is also he does a show on the MLB Network.
Right.
And so you would think that he would be under explicit orders. Without the written consent of Major League Baseball, would he be allowed to even criticize since he works on the MLB Network? But Chris is so respected and such a great guy, and he knows his baseball, that he finally said enough is enough on yesterday's show, and we have the tirade where he basically rips MLB a new bungholio. Let's go to the tape.
I don't want to hear another word now from the Player Association. What a disgrace. They knew right from the get-go that the letter and the exchange and the agreement that was made in March regarding the whole thing on the 50-50 revenue split, that they knew that it would have to be renegotiated and changed if there was a situation, and in late March, who knew that there would be no fans at the ballpark. One more time, I reminded him of Rob's comments at the outset that playing in empty stadiums did not work for us economically. But I said, for example, that we might be willing to have a conversation about playing some limited number of games in empty stadiums if players agreed to reduce their daily salaries for those games. So we're off this now. This 50-50 revenue split is finished. I don't want to hear another word. It is absolutely. I don't want to hear another player moan and groan. I don't want to hear Clayton Kershaw and Dan Patrick. I don't want to hear Ian Snell or Blake Snell, whatever his name is, down there. I don't want to hear Bryce Harper. I don't want to hear Boris. I don't want to hear another word. The union knew that if they were going to play games in an empty stadium, they knew that they were going to have to take a price reduction. They knew it. So all of them can go to hell. Go to hell. That's garbage. And I got Tony Clark telling the whole world, how dare Manfred try to jam a salary cap bias through the revenue spy during a global pandemic when they asked for confirmation in the original agreement what this all meant, and the commissioner's office gave them, and they said, yeah, that's what we thought, thanks a lot. And now since then they made a big stink about the 50-50 thing. Go to hell, all of you. Go to hell.
Give him a win, dog.
Yes, sir.
Give him a win, dog.
Ian Snell, Blake Snell, whatever his name is.
You know, I mess up Blake Snell's name, too.
Well, that's why we just call him Snell Bra.
Snell Bra.
Yeah.
It's much easier that
Right.
way, Chris. Christopher Russo, ladies and gentlemen. How great is that?
Yeah, there's also, and maybe this is probably what he was referring to, there was apparently an email, a smoking gun email.
Oh, I love those.
That was back on March 26th, where the MLB and the MLB Players Association basically acknowledging that a new negotiation would be needed if they wouldn't be able to have fans. And the MLB Players Association kind of said, yeah, we're aware of that.
So this collusion again, Harry? Is this collusion between the owners and the players to keep Colin Kaepernick out of Major League Baseball? I love that. You know what? That's what I love. That's why I love being able to do this. And I love the fact that Chris Russo is another legendary guy in this business who people listen to and respect. And Major League Baseball respects his opinion. You know why? Because they all have heard that now. Tony Clark, Rob Manfred. He's not taking sides. He wants baseball back.
Well, he wants baseball back.
And
yeah.
that's what most people do. But baseball, of all the sports, Harry, you know, when hockey and the NBA look like they're going to probably be playing their sports and finishing up their seasons and having an actual ending and deciding championships and Stanley Cups, baseball, at best, if they get all this crap out of the way, will play a half of a season where everybody will bitch about, oh, it's only a half season. There should be we'll hear all that anyway. As much as these people claim that they love baseball, they can't live without baseball, they need baseball. When they come back and if there's no fans and people can't make money serving beer and doing what they do to maintain their living, the people will care very little about Major League Baseball players making their living sooner or later.
That's true, but let's just try to be fair. If this virus had hit later, in other words, near the end of the baseball season, before the playoffs, and before the NBA and the NHL were getting ready to start, Don't you think baseball would have been sort of like the NBA is now, wanting to get back as soon as just to get the playoffs? The timing of this kind of is tougher for baseball.
No, I agree. It's not their fault.
Right.
But they knew they had a spring training, Harry.
Right.
That's when this all came down. But they also had a lot of time. I'm not saying they should rush back. So don't put me in that category. People out there, like yesterday, we were arguing about you can't play baseball on the 4th of July just because the president wants it argument. Everybody wants baseball on the 4th of July because baseball is the 4th of July.
Right. It's Americana.
And so is the stupid hot dog eating contest. Yeah. People want that back? Is Joey Chestnut going to not get a chance to defend his title?
Well, I think they could have it, but there's not going to be 500,000 people at Coney Island.
As long as it's televised on ESPN and those guys are retching up all over like everybody else will be on the 4th of July.
I've never watched it.
He's a friend of the show, too, Joey Chestnut.
Oh, I respect his ability, but
that's talent. That's talent right there.
Jeez.
But the bottom line is this. I want baseball back.
Makes me thinking about eating that much food.
I like hot dogs.
Really?
I don't want to.
Now, you don't put ketchup on them, do you, Harry?
No ketchup, no.
That's right.
No.
Any of that food.
Robin puts ketchup. That's why I can't believe I'm still with her.
Man.
She puts ketchup and mayonnaise on a hot dog.
Well, now I've put mayonnaise on a hot dog.
No, you can't put mayonnaise on a hot dog, Harry.
Because mayonnaise tastes good on everything.
You just hate mayo, man.
No, I love mayo. Not OJ mayo, of course.
You know what the difference is? If you tell him it's aioli, he's all over.
No, I love it's nice. You get a couple pieces of toast in the toaster.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it out, then you get that nice big dollop of mayo.
Mm-hmm.
You slide that baby on there, nice and thick.
Talking about a BLT here?
Yeah, and you put the lettuce and the tomato and the bacon. And I throw a slice of cheese on top, too.
Wow.
You got a slice, maybe provolone.
Tony can put cheese on
or
anything.
Gouda. I can put cheese on anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm just saying? You put spicy brown or just regular yellow mustard on a hot dog?
I like the spicy brown.
Me too.
Yeah.
I dated a chick once named Spicy Brown.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she was hot. You never go back, Harry.
Harry and I seem to be way more in sync over here.
On the food, yeah.
Anyway, so that's the baseball story. I have my somebody got me this shirt and they made these. It's the Phillies logo when they collapsed a couple of years ago. Actually, they've been sucking for a while, and it says "pissed" in the Phillies font.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Phillies fans and fans all over the country are feeling pissed because they're not taking sides. They want the players to go back, but as we've been saying, the fans will blame the players.
Sure,
right?
they will. Yeah,
because they're the ones who have to make the decision. The owners obviously went out there and said, "Hey, we want to go back." And nobody cares that the owners are going to lose money or how much money they're going to make. Nobody cares about that except the owners. Right?
Right.
The owners know they're going to make money without fans because they got the TV contract money guaranteed.
It's billionaires arguing with millionaires, and
exactly.
people hate that.
And
I get it.
I hate
that.
both sides in that argument. You know what I'm saying?
Did you notice that the pissed, the D in pissed, is actually the upside down P, and it's the same
This
letter.
is whoever the artist is.
It was pretty good.
It really is.
Our fabulous T-shirt designer, he suggested that we used "I am pissed off" signature Harry
with the Phillies P,
but with the Phillies that same kind
That's
of.
a script though. That's not a registered. You can't use Phillies now. Like this is technically the Phillies logo. So I don't know if anybody's been sued, but if there's lawsuits pending over this shirt that was made a few years ago, I have nothing to do with it.
No,
I'm just a guy that bought it out of the trunk of a guy who was driving by with a City of Philadelphia official business car. So I figured maybe the mayor was trying to make a couple of extra bucks for his campaign to run for mayor for re-election, which they just had last year. I'm just trying to help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's the latest. And because people are pissed off, Harry, and you've said it. You've made that saying back again. You brought that back again.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
No, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
With that script.
Wouldn't that be good?
Absolutely.
As long as Tom Brady doesn't send us a cease and a desist order.
That would be great publicity for the show, though.
Absolutely.
Yes,
now, meanwhile, speaking of baseball, Gabe Kapler, you remember him?
Yes.
Former Philly manager, now San
I
Francisco Gigante, or Gigante, depending on where you're from. The skipper, he was talking about the rules, too. Every manager, every player that's been interviewed has talked about the 67-page report. And everybody thinks it's stupid because it's impossible to do. Everybody, even Gabe Kapler says, quote, "It would be a tremendous challenge, Harry, for players to stop spitting." And he's right. That's the number one thing. Even Rob Dibble was on the other day.
It's not just tobacco.
No.
It's just they put
sunflower seeds. You see these guys in the dugout between innings, and they're spitting it all over the place, and it's dropping, and then some poor slob kid has to come over there and clean it up.
Sweep it up.
All this stuff in their mouth and all this germs.
There's certain things like that it just becomes a behavior. It's not
exactly.
It's a hand-to-mouth habit, I think, is what it really is.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like I'm addicted to chapstick, and I find myself constantly rubbing my lips together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could ever stop doing that.
I could. It's like smoking. Smoking, a lot of people, you want to have that cigarette in your hand.
Yeah.
But you become addicted to nicotine.
Right.
And so that's how I did it. I didn't want to have a cigarette in my hand.
So what did you do? Walk around with an unlit one and just because you
No, I smoked. I smoked a lot when I smoked.
No, I'm saying when you tried to quit.
I just went cold.
You did.
Actually, I went to a hypnotist. Joe Conklin's wife at the time. I was hypnotized on live radio into wanting to stop. But first of all, you have to want to stop smoking.
So it was a bit.
It was a bit, but I really wanted to stop smoking. So she hypnotized me, and I stopped smoking.
And you really were hypnotized.
Absolutely. I was playing Biggie, by the way. By the way, I think isn't it Biggie's birthday today?
Tony, I'm surprised you were able to be hypnotized.
Yeah, I know. They tried to do that to me, and
because it's all about, you do not like giving up control. That would be.
Oh yeah, I'll give it up. When I'm out, when I'm out of control, nobody gives it up easier than I do. Come on. I don't even need anybody to spike my drinks for me to give it up.
It is Biggie's birthday today.
That's what I thought, see?
Good job.
Give me a little hypnotized, Robin. I have it in my other system, but I don't have it on this. Can you pull up a little? You know who else's birthday it is today? It's a couple big birthdays.
He would be 48 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Robin, can you find hypnotized?
Born in 1972.
Wow.
How about that?
Not a Gaylord Perry spitter. He would still be allowed to, because nobody saw it. He put Vaseline. He didn't really spit on the ball.
No.
See, a spitball was an old thing before they put foreign substances on it.
They'll put pine tar on it.
And they could wet it a little bit, but that really is not going to move the ball. It has to be something that makes one side of the ball. No, it makes it weigh a little different. You take the weight. Yeah. Oh. Now, is this the explicit version?
No,
Rob?
I found the non-explicit one.
Yeah.
Well, it says remastered. It doesn't say explicit behind it, so hopefully it's okay.
Tito hypnotizes Harry every night. What are you talking about?
No. Only on the weekends.
This is one of those songs, Harry. No matter where you are, if you're in your car, especially if you're in the club, you're walking down the street, somebody's riding by.
You were bouncing right at the beginning.
Of course, it's impossible to sit still during this show. Even if you're the paciest white cracker ginger on the face of the earth with no soul, no rhythm, no anything. You bounce during this song.
Yeah, look at Harry's head. It's just he's nodding in rhythm.
Seriously.
I'm thinking about a Philly blunt.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
This guy wore the Krause hats.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But he wore them.
Where do you think Joe Krause got the inspiration from?
Yeah, but he turns
He's a
his
biggie
around.
Guy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
he's got to try to be different. You know what I'm saying?
Krause has the racing stripes on again today.
Oh, that's his Masters hat.
Oh,
Harry's not wearing golf gear today, and Joe Krause wears a Masters hat. What the hell's going on around here? You have a golf shirt under there?
It's a shirt you can wear to play golf.
No, I'm saying it's not like a different club or anything.
No, it was some sort of an event.
That's the one. That was the Kickers versus Hackers versus Cancer charity tournament we played in. Awesome. But that is one of those That's one of those Sub-Zero things you're wearing on top, where you can play in the rain.
No, not really. This is just a light little fleece.
Aren't you hot?
People are just obsessed with the stuff that I wear.
It's all about what you wear, Harry.
Yes,
it is warm.
It's very hot. It's hot down here. You know where else it was hot?
Where?
In Russia, or did you see the photograph of that nurse?
We had that story yesterday. We had a bunch of stories.
To it, yeah.
The Russian nurse who was wearing her underwear, and then she had the see-through PPE on top of her. And you got to look at that picture. It's all over the internet. And in the back, there's an old dude sitting in a chair. You got to look at the look of it on his face. Here's the picture here. If you can see it, if you're watching us, it's also all over the place. It was in the New York Post, and she's pretty hot. All right.
Well, I mean, she's.
But, not all Russian chicks are hot.
No, but
she's a little thick.
The ones on the internet are.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a nurse with that kind
thick?
of
That is not thick.
she's a little thick.
She's not thick.
What are you talking about?
Thick doesn't mean fat. Thick means that she doesn't have a real tiny little waist.
Oh, you mean, okay, so she's not emaciated, is what you're saying.
Thick
okay.
is good. Thick isn't bad. Thick is THICC. That is not an insult. That is a compliment, Robin.
Anyway, this nurse is in Tula, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And she wore nothing but underwear beneath a see-through protective suit, gloves, and goggles while working in the COVID-19 ward because she said that any clothing underneath those, they don't breathe, and she was just way too hot. And she decided to put on lingerie underneath it rather than just regular underwear to make it a little bit more interesting for the patients.
Nice.
And as you can see by the face of the older gentleman in the back, he completely agrees that this was a great idea.
Why aren't we doing that in this country?
He's like, cancel that hydroxychloroquine order. I want to stay and watch this a little longer.
I don't want to get better
I don't want to
yet.
get out of here just
That's
yet.
the kind of Russian collusion I'm all for right there, Harry. Why the hell don't our nurses do that? They're dancing in the hallways because there's no patients in there because they can't let any real patients in. It's an outrage. God bless. What's her name? Do we have her name, address, and phone number? And
let's see, what was her name? It just says a nurse.
A nurse?
Yeah.
Any nurse will do it for me right now.
And while there were reportedly no complaints from her patients, kidding.
Right. People are dying to get into that ward.
Now, did you know that her superiors punished her?
Of course.
It's damn Ruskies. We're coming right back. 215-462-TONY. 215-462-8669. Sid Rosenberg's coming up later on. And Jason Whitlock will be on the program today. Stick around.
An outrage.
PPE Peep Show. That's a go in there, Goldwing 72. In fact, I have a Goldwing club.
And you know
Goldwing club head. Remember Goldwings, Harry?
No.
Yeah, I got a club.
You know what song they stole the loop from for that Biggie tune? You remember that tune?
Yeah, it was. Oh shit! I know what it is now. I can't think of it.
Luke seduced Laura to it. Here, that'll give you a hint. Now you're going
He
back for
didn't
so
watch
old.
General Hospital.
Now, there you go.
No.
I didn't know it either, but everybody said.
What is it? I'll pull it
What's
up.
it called?
Actually,
It's called Rise by Herb Alpert.
That's right. That is. Damn it! I knew that. Herb Alpert, and the Tijuana Brass. Rise.
No, it's just Herb Alpert's
by himself.
Rise. Yeah,
Rise.
Solo.
And I know that was a big song when he went solo.
Let's see.
Herb Alpert has a restaurant. I don't know if he still does.
Is that da, da, da?
No,
that's Chuck Mangione. You're thinking.
Listen.
Oh, this is great bass work.
No, what? Listen here. It's not when he starts playing the trumpet because Herb Alpert was a great trumpet.
He was also the A in A&M Records.
Yeah, A&M
That
Records.
is great knowledge. No, I met him at his restaurant. Like it's in the woods somewhere in California, out near the Hollywood Hills.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great spot, and he would play in there.
My dad loved Herb Alpert.
And the Tijuana Brass. Oh, it's a great album.
I think every little boy, I remember the album with a front with a woman that has shaving cream all over her.
Yeah, that's a epic. That's a famous
epic
whipped cream. Or
She just died last
It
year.
was actually shaving cream. Huh?
The woman that was in that just
really?
died. Yeah, she just passed away, I think, last year.
Yeah, they tried whipping cream. I actually know the story. They tried whipping cream, but it didn't stay put.
But the name of the song is Whipped Cream, though. That was
now move forward 309 into the song. That's where the riff is that they stole. They sampled. They didn't call it stealing back then. 3 minutes and 9 seconds in. It's in the middle of the riff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they break into they go back into the bridge.
Yeah. Here it is.
Or the bridge. Yeah, bridge.
Come on, Herb. Not Peaches and Herb, man. Not Herb Clark in the Channel 10 newsroom.
Here it comes.
In the Weather Center. Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Good knowledge by Fairweather Marvin there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's probably a DJ. Everybody knows where that hook is. You got a bass track, too.
Great bass.
I think that's
not Herb Brooks, whose statue we saw in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I kneeled before it and bowed, even though it was
Herb
like 20 below
Denenberg.
zero. That's right.
Wow.
Ah, Herb Brooks, yeah, Herb Denenberg.
Yeah, all right.
See what the Twitch channel gets?
Twitch gets more. Anybody that's on the Twitch channel during the break.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
It's Thirsty Thursday. We got our Tito's bandanas, but we're out of Tito's. Ed could have slipped a couple of fifths in there at least.
Oh, in the package.
Yeah. Now you get your supplies from our good friend. Legally,
correct.
of course. You order it from the Liquor Control Board, and then you go pick it up.
Yes.
And sometimes you get curbside delivery.
I'm about 3/5 of the way through it.
3/5 of the way through what? A fifth or 15 gallons?
No, the 5 half-gallons.
Can they deliver 55-gallon drums and just put a spigot on
That's
it
what
and
we
make it a lot easier?
Yeah.
You know how they have the big water jugs in a lot of people's apartments now?
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Right.
You need. It's not. That's like a 5-gallon. So how many handles would be in one of those big 5-gallon water bottles that people have?
10.
10?
They're half gallons apiece, so 10 half gallons.
That's good
is
math
5
right there.
gallons.
See, it would take me a while. I would have to use both hands to figure that one out.
Yeah.
That one was pretty simple, Tony.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, even I thought you would be able to figure that one out, but
now we're
apparently
gonna have a really developing situation tomorrow in the Situation Room, and Wolf Blitzer won't even be here. Tomorrow's Friday. It's the start of the Memorial Day weekend, Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And every Friday, it is a tradition unlike any other here. Forget the Masters. We have to have our Friday cocktail hour.
Correct.
And we are being joined tomorrow by somebody special who is going to be
studio?
not in studio, but virtually, who also enjoys his cocktails.
Yes,
so
indeed.
it's even more dire that we rectify this situation before tomorrow.
He's locked in, Harry. He will be back. People have been clamoring for the return of the great Lenny Dykstra.
Now, 5:20?
Yes.
Beautiful.
5:20 Eastern Time.
Yeah.
Or that would be 12:20 at night if you're scoring at home on SB Nation Radio. You following me right now? So Lenny Dykstra, what better way to start the weekend? And it's a real big weekend for Lenny. Really big.
Yes.
And we'll tell
very
you why.
important.
I'll be involved in a little special program on behalf of Lenny. Not on this one.
Oh, yeah?
But I've been invited to be on another program to commemorate this big moment in Lenny
Major
Dykstra's
celebration.
personal history.
When are we announcing that?
I'll announce it tomorrow when Lenny's
Okay.
on. Think we're going to give it away here, Harry? You know the art of the tease.
I'm just trying to keep track of what we're doing.
You're going to start another clock?
No.
Yeah, put another countdown to Lenny Dykstra being on in 25 hours and 40. That's what they do on all these TV channels now.
Mm-hmm.
Countdown to kickoff.
Well, no, it was
which is fine. It was countdown to something
to the
week.
Last Dance.
That's right.
ESPN would have a countdown
Yep.
clock to episode 9 and 10 or whatever, and they'd
Exactly.
start it on like Monday on Get Up.
And you know what I'd say if I woke up and saw that?
Go back to bed.
I'd say, get out. Yeah. And I'd turn that thing off. Thank God I don't wake up for any of that stuff anymore, man. Meanwhile, speaking of The Last Dance, guess what they're going to have now, Harry? Guess what's next? We know that there are other programs, right? You know there's one with What's-His-Face coming up this weekend.
Tiger Slam.
Not the Tiger Slam. I'm talking about the 30 for 30
Oh, you're
technique,
talking
the
about Lance
docuseries.
Armstrong's
Lance
coming up.
Armstrong.
Yeah. Bruce Lee's coming up.
Bruce Lee. And guess who's going to be in the party, Harry? Now, people will rip him over this. You know, Tom Brady has his own production company called 199 Productions. He set it up last year while he was after the season with his final season with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And now ESPN and Tom Brady's production company are going to put together a 9-episode docu-series in 2021. And guess what? I could give you 1,000 guesses, and you will never even come close to knowing the name of this particular docu-series on Tom Brady's career. All the Super Bowl ring. I guess I got to talk about like Deflategate,
of course,
and all that other stuff,
I
right?
think so, yeah. How about
Spygate?
Get to know the GOAT.
No, you would think that's it.
No,
it doesn't make any sense to me. In fact, I think a song's already been done with similar lyrics. You remember this one, huh?
This is Michael Jackson.
MJ. No, not Michael Jordan. The other MJ. Who was bigger, Harry? Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Right, yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. No doubt.
In a landslide.
Worldwide.
Absolutely. Listen, with all due respect to Michael Jordan, you don't think Michael Jackson had bad pizzas delivered to his place when he had the kids over for the weekend, did you? You think he ever got fooled?
Tony Bruno.
You think his monkey got tainted food when people would deliver it to? Remember, he had
Neverland Ranch.
That's great, Neverland
What was
Ranch.
the monkey's name
It's
again?
up near Santa Barbara.
Bozo?
Yeah.
No.
No, Bozo was a clown.
No.
Is it Bubbles?
Bubbles. There you go. Thank
I
you,
knew
Josie.
it started with a B.
And I love Bubbles. How can I not forget that?
That's
Bubbles.
Good. That's good Bubbles knowledge, yo.
And
Bubbles
this is so.
the monkey.
Michael actually came up with the name, and then Tom Brady stole it, just sort of like Biggie took the Herb Alpert and the Herb Alpert Rise riff with the guitar in there for. This is going to be called. Listen, crank it up, Robin. Not the man in the mirror. The Man in the Arena is the name of the docuseries. Does that make any sense to you in any way, shape, or form?
No,
with all
it
due
doesn't.
respect, these people, ESPN, brilliant minds.
Yeah.
You got Tom Brady's own production company. He also has other people like Gotham Chopra production companies, The Religion of Sports, all these brilliant minds who did the Michael Jordan documentary, Last Dance. And they sat around and they thought about this, and they came up with, I got an idea. Let's call it Man in the Arena, who doesn't even play in an arena. He plays in a stadium.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
The last arena was the Colosseum in Rome. And good stuff didn't happen in there, Harry. They did for the spectators,
but not for the players.
participants.
If you were on the playing field in that one, you were generally going to be dead.
Exactly right.
As a human.
Would you,
Eventually.
Seriously, man in the arena?
Who does that? Who has time?
That doesn't make any sense, but who am I? I just give opinions. Let's go to the phones. We go to the official archivist of the Tony Bruno Show, a man who has every tape of everything I've made except the video collection, which I'll be releasing later in a complimentary series on Columbia House Records. Let's go to Jim in Cheltenham. Jim, how are you, man?
How you doing, Tony?
Beautiful, man, beautiful.
I hope everything's safe over there.
It's safe unless I go outside. I feel safer in my home. I don't want to get lead poisoning if I go outside. I think lead poisoning is the biggest threat in the city of Philadelphia these days, if you know what I mean.
We're all in this together, Jim. Don't forget that.
Well, we got Memorial Day weekend coming up, and 40 years ago this weekend, there was a major brawl between the Phillies and those Pittsburgh Pirates, defending world champions.
Oh, man, I remember it like it was yesterday,
1980? Wow.
1980, that was the year of the Phillies World Series victory down at Veterans Stadium.
And the Pirates were the defending champs.
Yes,
at
they
this
were.
Point, right?
The We Are Family Pirates, remember?
Yeah.
And your good friend Bert Blythe was on the mound for the Pirates.
The great Bert be home by 11, as Chris Berman gave him that great nickname, Bert home by 11, Bert Bly 11. Let's go to the tape.
And he knocked down two Phillies early in the game, and the Pirates were leading 6-1 in the seventh inning.
That's when men were men in baseball. They didn't just go out and stand around. They social distance now. They don't even need rules. Nobody fights in baseball. This was a baseball fight. You got to go back to 1980 for this. Roll the tape.
And
Jim.
Dallas Green brought his hitman in, Kevin Soche, in the game. And the first batter up in the seventh inning was Bly Levin, and all this happened. And then running from the bullpen came your good friend Irish Mike Ryan.
Oh, I love Irish Mike.
It was Andy Musser and the late Richie Ashburn.
Let's go to the tape, man. How about that?
The crowd's booing Bly Levin. He low-bridged a couple of the Phillies tonight. Pitch on the way, and he is hit. And here goes Harvey out to, and Blyleven picks up the ball. He wanted to throw it at Soche, and here they go. Blyleven and Soche get into it. Umpire Harvey dragging Blyleven away. And both benches erupt, and we've got a melee on the field right now, but it looks mostly like shoving and tugging right now.
Well, it looked that way, and it looked like, to all intents and purposes, this skirmish was over on the field. And then some players start jawing, and listen to this. He has hurt his leg. That's what's happened to him. Well, they're putting it up, and some of the Pirates still want to go at him. Looks like Randy Lurch now in there.
Randy Lurch.
Oh, boy. There's Mike Ryan, and he's turned into a... Oh, I don't believe this fight. It's a regular riot on the field. There must be a half a dozen fights. Look at Mike Ryan.
Irish Mike
Well,
Ryan.
they had a good one out there tonight.
That was a fracas, a Donnybrook, a Pier 6 brawl. That was real baseball.
That's before steroids, Tony.
That was before steroids. That's when men were men. And just a couple of good Budweiser Ballantine blasts would get the boys ready to go. Great stuff, Jim. I love that stuff. I want to go out and start kicking somebody's ass right now.
And for all the Phillies fans out there, tomorrow on MLB Network, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., it'll be all 1980 Phillies on. 12 hours of Phillies baseball on the MLB Network tomorrow.
Thank you, Jim. Awesome stuff. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
There he is.
That was good.
Washing and constant hygiene may be in our lives to
Oh, real Donnybrook.
That was amazing.
Fracas. No, I remember that, man. Irish Mike Ryan was nuts. The bullpen coach, the bullpen catcher, actually. That guy would be up for anything, man. Way before Budweiser came up with that lame slogan.
Apparently, Man in the Arena is a motivational speech by Teddy Roosevelt.
But what the hell does that have to do with Tom Brady?
Oh, maybe it inspires him.
You know who played Teddy Roosevelt, right, in a famous motion picture? Robin?
Wasn't it Robin Williams?
Exactly right. What
that's right. As a
toy.
As a toy. I'm sitting there going, I don't remember a movie.
No, Night of the Museum. Yeah. He played Teddy Roosevelt. One of the Teddy Roosevelt comes to life in the. Was he in both? Was he in the first two? I think he was in the first two. I think.
Well, I don't think he liked to make sequels, though, did he?
The credit
Wasn't that
belongs to the
one of the
man
things that
who
drove
was
him nuts?
actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood.
It sounds like something John Facenda would read at an NFL
Who
film.
strives valiantly.
You know, he's buried next to my dad.
Who errs.
Really?
Comes short
Who?
again
Really?
and again.
John Facenda.
Oh, really?
And I'll come in and visit in the winter, and it'll be, it's a cold winter here at
Now, what
St.
cemetery
Peter
is
and
this?
Paul. And
Oh, up there in
Broomall.
Broomall. That's where my brother-in-law is buried. Speaking of cemeteries, I'm going to go see my dad this weekend at the cemetery on Memorial Day.
Because they're not allowing any volunteers to place flowers or anything like they
No,
normally do.
flags.
Flags, I mean.
Because my dad's buried in Beverly National Cemetery, which is a military cemetery in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And every year they put the flags in.
Why
for
can't
Memorial
you
Day.
plant a flag?
Because they're not allowing it. Because
We can, but
I
they're
could
not
put a
allowing,
flag in.
They're not allowing volunteers.
no, normally like the Boy Scouts go out.
Yeah.
And
In
they
fact-
put flags in all the military ones. I don't even think they're doing it at Arlington this year.
Wow.
Which is a joke.
Just think of that poor flag manufacturer.
I mean, everybody, but
They canceled the order.
it's a tradition.
It's got to be,
and it's not like
the communists.
I mean, talk about social distancing by the umpteenth factor in a cemetery. There's not like you have to be next
Well, at
to
least they're
anybody.
6 feet under.
Oh.
That was but Harry put that on the tee for me. Just like, pull it right out of his pocket.
What up, Rough Riders? You know what? I want to welcome a couple new people
On the Twitch
on
stream?
the Twitch stream. There's several people. Now, just because sometimes we don't know if you are here or not if you don't actually talk in the chat room.
You talking to me?
I apologize if we miss you, but there was. Oh, where did it go? Shoot.
So our good friend Bearcat AJ said it was based on a quote from Teddy that was in the Michigan locker room when he was playing in Michigan.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
The show that answers questions and then questions answers. That's what it's all about. Tony Bruno, Harry Mays, inching closer and closer to the weekend. A lot of baseball chatter, football. And Harry, last night, where were you when the rains came? Not down in Africa, but down in Darlington, South Carolina. You watch any of that?
I was
NASCAR
watching
last night?
season 3, episode 4 of Bosch.
Really, Harry?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's on demand, and you can watch that at any time.
Last night was the night I wanted to watch it.
When you have the boys out there, when you have Denny Hamlin, who just won the Daytona 500, having to win a race that was basically red flagged because of an accident and then the rain, and he won it.
Sounds thrilling.
It was good. But then we had a flipping of the bird during that race.
Oh, we did?
Oh, yeah.
No, imagine that. 2 NASCAR drivers flipping the bird
Only
at one
one
another.
did it this time, Harry. So Denny Hamlin, and the best part about Denny Hamlin, not that he won in a Toyota with his Joe Gibbs racing teammate finishing second. But what happens is he made a face mask, and the face mask is his face. You talk about brilliant. Did you see this? So the bottom part of the mask where you would put it on from the nose down, he got somebody to make the mask so when he puts it on, it looks like his whole face is there, not that he's covered up. Pretty brilliant.
So
I need to get one of those.
Where was he wearing this?
He was wearing it after the race in the interview.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
obviously they have to social distance.
Yeah.
So he gets out of his car after he wins the race. They stopped. There was 30 laps left. And then there was a big mess up. And Chase Elliott in that M&M's car. Love that M&M's. Plain peanut. So Chase Elliott was in the race. And then all of a sudden, while no one was watching, Kyle Busch was in second place. He gave his teammate Denny Hamlin an unintended help shot there because he clipped Chase Elliott's car. Chase Elliott crashes, goes up against the wall. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Then he gets out of his car, Chase Elliott, knowing it's over for him. He finishes second to last. And he waits on the apron for Denny Hamlin to come around again. And then he didn't give him the double flip salute. He just went out there and gave him one of those.
One big one. I think that's more effective.
But no,
than
he
the
just
double.
kept it up there. He didn't do one of these emphatic multiple times. He didn't do the double flip bird salute. You got to watch the video. It's phenomenal. He just holds his hand up like this.
I think that's more effective.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would do the peel it up, though, but the car's gone by too
He's
fast.
going
He
so
would say,
fast.
yeah, you got to make sure he sees it.
He'd be in turn 3 before you got the finger out.
He'd be into the wall. He'd be down there on pit row, not stopping,
Yeah,
and then he'd get a violation.
I'm looking at the mask. It's
You like
pretty,
that mask?
It's pretty effective.
It really is. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's brilliant work right there. Now, it doesn't match his skin color, but it's close. And those white racing guys all look the same anyway, and they all sound the same.
I mean, does he have a tan?
It's hard to get a tan with a helmet on and the.
Well, I know not during the race.
You know, we actually thought of that a while ago. Heath, our designer, we came up with an idea of putting both a Harry Mays mask and a Tony Bruno goatee
Yes, so
together.
when you put it on, that from the nose down, you look like us, Harry. I mean, what woman wouldn't want a guy who looks like me?
So we looked for it.
Yeah,
you got the teeth and everything.
Yeah, no, it's a brilliant mask.
I mean, we were going to get one with a Harry Mays smile with a
the
gap,
gap.
and everything.
Yeah.
The whole bit.
And unfortunately, everywhere was sold out of the blank face masks.
The ones from
We're still working on it, though.
There's still plenty of from China, Harry.
China. You know what? It's really a bad look is when the golfers take off their hat after they finish.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got, like, their tan only goes to the top of their eyes, and then their forehead is white as.
I know.
That's a bad look.
It is a bad
That
look.
is a bad look.
Yeah.
That is bad. Now, get out, NASCAR. But that was I pulled the finger in 5th grade. I ended up in the principal's office. You're right, David.
Yeah.
I mean, when
They need to use the tan through fabric so that it
They need
actually
to call
tans.
Donald Trump and get some of that orange stuff in there, so you have that clean, deep, dark orange tan. I have orange glow. If I'd like, I'm gonna start selling orange glow out there and just put a Trump picture on it and then make a fortune because so many people love the Orange Man, Harry. Because Orange Man is bad. Don't forget. Meanwhile, coming up this hour, Sid Rosenberg. Is he still pissed off?
He's always pissed off.
Is he still stuck in New York?
Yeah, he's stuck in New York.
Is he going to go to the beach and defy the mayor?
I think so. I think he's been to the beach the last couple weekends.
Well, you know he's always tan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well,
he doesn't have – when he takes his hat off, I don't even think he ever wears a hat.
No, he doesn't wear
He's
a
like
hat.
me. I rarely wear a hat, if ever.
Yeah.
But he doesn't – because if he took a hat off and he had that white thing, it's an ugly look. I agree.
Yeah.
He fake bakes.
Yeah, doesn't he have his own?
At his gym, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Film
breaking
special.
quarantine before it was cool.
I know.
And I bet you anything, I'll ask him if he actually takes melanotan injections as well.
Melanotan?
Yes.
Isn't that the First Lady?
No, melanotan is an injection. It's a
Hello.
peptide that you can take that will increase your
Now,
melanin
is it by
levels.
prescription only, or is it one of those dangerous drugs that people are peddling out there that can kill you?
Bodybuilders use it all.
Oh, they do it?
Yeah.
Then you know it's dangerous.
Did George Hamilton use it?
No, my doctor prescribed it for me because I'm like whiter than white. I glow in the dark, and it's even with a boatload of suntan lotion or sunscreen on, it's still dangerous. My doctor recommended that I get a base tan. Well, I don't tan, and so she told me to try this melanotan. that way I can get at least a little bit
injection,
of a base.
Right?
It's an injection, right? Yeah, it was the first time I've ever been tan in my entire freaking life.
I'm an anti-vaxxer when it comes to that stuff. I'm not an anti-vaxxer for stuff that I need. I ain't sticking no suntan stuff. That's like doing bleach. That's like injecting bleach.
No, it's a peptide.
I know. I'm playing the
peptide.
I'm playing
peptide.
the.
It's totally
I'm playing the pissed
to
off,
work?
angered person.
I started taking it for a week before we went to the Virgin Islands, and I had to stay out in the sun for like a half hour at a time, not very much, and it started
It's
to
a
give me the
smart way, because if you're going to be out in the Caribbean, right? You're on a boat.
Right. It's the first time I ever went on vacation where there was sun and I did not burn.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know how that is. If you're whiter than white, even if you're an African American, you have to put sun. I knew a lot of African American women in California, and when we'd go to the beach, they put sunscreen on too. Their skin burns too.
Of course.
And people don't realize that. But if you're really, really light complected, it's bad. It means the sun's bad for you no matter who you are. If there's too much of it, the UV is good for you, but then it's bad for you if you're out there too long. So I always slather my head, and then Robin has to slather. But this stuff. But you have to get it by prescription. You can't buy it like it. Walk up to the counter and say it, right?
Right.
Melanotan.
Melanotan. Sort of like Melanotan with a tan in Nashville.
It was developed by
Dr. Fauci?
No, by
Dr. Birx?
University of Arizona students.
Really? Dr. Fine? Dr. Howard? Dr.
It's awesome.
Fine? Dr. Howard? Nobody's getting all of my really dumb.
We're just ignoring you. We're ignoring you. We're getting them. We're just ignoring you. There's a difference, Tony.
It's not that busy, man.
Tony doesn't want me to be interested in your Melanotan story.
No, it's an interesting story. I just don't like injecting things into my body that I don't know what they're going to do.
Nobody's asking you to. I'm thinking about getting it for the wife.
No, and I'm saying, if there's a vaccine, are you going to take the vaccine for the coronavirus when they come out with it?
It depends.
So is the Lima one, is she one that burns really easily as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I could, by day 3 of any vacation, I'd be, even no matter what I did, I would burn.
Yeah.
Speaking of burn, not Bernie Sanders, no. So we got the answer to the man in the arena thing during the break. A lot of our folks on the Twitch stream and Twitter are saying it was actually on the wall at the University of Michigan in the big house in the stadium that Tom Brady saw, and it was a quote.
From Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Yeah, it's a long quote.
And ain't nobody got time for that.
It's like a paragraph long, but the part.
Why can't it just say, play like a champion today?
No,
Notre Dame made it simple.
The second sentence goes, the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. And it goes on and on.
And you think college students in a gym, in an arena in Michigan and the big house in Ann Arbor are going to stop and read that before they go down onto the field? At least at and I'm not a Notre Dame fan or a Michigan fan, so I'm being objective here.
Yeah.
At least when those strappers at Notre Dame slap that play like a champion today thing
as they're
when
walking
down
the steps, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
You slap that thing.
Or you rub Howard's rock at Clemson coming down the hill.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't grovel with Howard. Speaking of that, we will have an NFL player gets molested on an airplane up there. I had the story yesterday, but
and
we
doesn't
ran out of
like
time.
it.
I know.
No Mile High Club for him.
He wasn't down with it. I have an idea on that.
We'll have that story for you exclusively on this program today. Plus a last night an igloo saved my life update coming up on this Thirsty Thursday, Harry. That's all still ahead. But joining us next, when we come back, the greatness that is Sid Rosenberg, tan and tall and dark and lovely. The man from Midtown Manhattan comes walking. And when he passes, each guy she passes goes, exactly. That's Sid Rosenberg from New York City, baby. He's out of the quarantine. And he'll join us next right here. Tony, Harry, Miss Robin, the whole gang having fun.
Is my clock that off, or are we breaking early?
I broke early.
Oh.
I ran out of stuff to say.
This is not a good sign.
No, I mean, I want to save everything. I'm not going to leave it all out here and wear it out. And see, I don't replay stories 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of shows, they do 2 hours. In the third hour, they basically repeat the first hour.
Yeah.
You
Never play that. We don't
No.
play that shit.
No, if you do not listen to all 3 hours, you have missed out somehow.
I mean, not everybody listens to the whole show.
Exactly.
Well, that is their fault. That's how come your show, I think they coined the phrase must-listen radio. And now we say must-watch radio. Because if you don't listen, you've missed something, and you're going to hear about it from other people.
Now, of course, the Philadelphia Inquirer has an editorial today. Let's see which genius wrote this. Was it my buddy over there?
D. Conrad, I'm turning on my tanning lights to get in the mood.
Here's the headline today in the Philadelphia Inquirer on the opinion page. Joe Kraus. Want to honor the dead this Memorial Day? Don't go to the shore. That's the Philadelphia Inquirer has spoken.
Wow.
Well, I will not be following that order.
Nope.
I will be in Cape May by 9 o'clock.
And, of course, Governor Wolf. Governor Wolf is now questioning reopening shore towns.
Probably going to be at Cape May Point myself. Then, so.
On the way to Cape May.
Governor Wolf is questioning opening shore towns.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any shore towns.
I know he doesn't. The only open stretch he has is on the top of his head.
Well, in theory.
Oh, here we go. Bust that baby out. Give me a little guy.
You want to do it now, or are we waiting until the show comes back?
We've got the shores of Erie. Lake Erie.
Do you want to wait?
We got the Delaware Water Gap up there. That's in Jersey, though, right? Both states.
Both sides.
Tony, am I playing it now, or are you waiting until we come back?
Let's play it now.
Okay.
And Lake Wallapalpack. Don't forget.
For everybody in Twitch. Da-da.
You know this song, right, huh?
It's on the way to Cape May, right?
Exactly.
You look so very
pretty
when we
met in Ocean City.
Like someone oh so easy
to adore.
I sang this little ditty on our way through Ocean City.
I'm going to bail this segment, but I'll probably be back tomorrow to finish.
Okay.
Everybody now. On the way to Cape May, I fell in love with you. On the way to Cape May,
I saw my dreams come true.
everybody now. I was taken by your smile as we drifted by sea isle. My heart was gone when we reached Avalon. On the way.
Now, I had never heard of this song until moving here. When you sang it to me on our way to Cape May.
We were naming the day.
Yes, this is Al Albert.
That's
Al
right.
Alberts
Al
with an
Alberts. Not Kenny Albert or Marv Albert with the big whistle.
Oh, D. Conrad, bring it home, Tony.
On the way to Cape May. On the way to Cape May. Now everybody now.
On the way to Cape. I want everybody in the Twitch room to sing along.
Not bad, Albert.
On the way to Cape.
It's not
Come
Jerry
on, Harry
Flavin,
Brand.
not the Gator. He's at Memories in Margate, where they will institute social distancing between 70-year-old women and 75-year-old men on Saturday night with Bob Pantano.
God, I wish I could have a camera on everybody right now. Okay,
All right,
coming back.
cut it off.
Is it over?
It's over.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Tony and Harry, and we keep an eye on the hot news, breaking news wire. We already gave you the Victoria's Secret closing 250 store update. Bad news for an upcoming Memorial Day weekend if you want to get the honey that you've been basically stuck inside with. You're going to have to stay inside. But we have breaking news before we get to Sid, ladies and gentlemen. Harry, this is just over the high-speed Hollywood wire. Chris Pratt, the actor, the star of Guardians of the Galaxy and so many other things, has revealed exclusively that his son gasped in shock when he saw his dad inbox had over 35,000 unread emails after trying to sort things out. The son accidentally deleted the entire inbox of Chris Pratt's email, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to do now?
Goodness gracious!
delicious.
There you have it.
What are you reading?
Can his son stop by my place and delete all mine?
Seriously.
Yeah, I'll pay his son.
Right.
The day that I decide I don't want to see any more emails, tweets, or anything else, I want him to come in and do like they do on Guardians of the Galaxy. He can come in with Groot and all the wrestling dude who's on there. What's his name? The guy who's the wrestler who's in all the movies now.
Bautista?
Yeah, Dave Bautista. He's in everything now. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in a lot of movies. Let's go to a man, I believe he's been in movies. I think he was filmed in a lot of the Central Park movies that were filmed.
I think he's going to redo Escape from New York very soon.
He will be the new Snake Plissken, except he'll have a great tan and he won't want to have a hat on. He wants to make sure everybody sees it. The great Sid Rosenberg, radio talk show extraordinaire, and a man who is sequestered and has not left he's not shaved, not showered, not even hit a tanning bed since his governor and his mayor have shut him in New York City. Sid, how are you feeling, and what is the latest, my friend?
Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I've got an August tan, to be honest with you. I am sporting a brand-new, beautiful haircut. I've never been more ripped. My body is in perfect condition, working out 7 days a week in my gym downstairs in my building and doing as many steroids as possible. I look like, honestly, The Rock, except my wife calls me The Pebble. So other than that, you got everything else right.
I just want to make sure we don't spread any fake news on this show. That's why I gave you the exact opposite of what I knew you were doing, just to tell people that you are a complete violator. Now, have you heard from the mayor, Bill de Blasio, up there? Has he personally sent people to your place to shut you down?
I wish I was that important. I have not heard from Bill de Blasio nor my idiotic governor, Andrew Cuomo. But I can tell you there was a time there, Tony, Harry, where, of course, I was really the only one doing this, and Harry could attest to this. I mean, now the world is basically calling to reopen. The New York Post had a big front cover about it today. I've been doing this for basically 2 months. And now just about everybody I know is doing the same thing. They're outside. They're not wearing masks. They're not even really practicing social distancing. They're getting ready to go back to work because I'm back at work already. So the novelty of Sid Rosenberg has kind of worn off just a little. But I can say I was the first. And as you know, Tony, no one ever forgets the first.
You're exactly right. Right, Harry? I mean,
I can attest to that.
And when we had you on, on our first day on our Sirius show, and you said that then, and a lot of people are going crazy now. There's still people out there who will hate you because you're killing them, and when I saw the people on the streets at the bars in New York, and then the next day the reaction, oh my God, look at all the people they're killing, Sid.
Well, what are your weekend plans?
Well, it's a big weekend coming up, Harry. Tony, it's a 3-day weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. So it just so happens my buddy Michael, who owns one of the most famous and legendary restaurants in the history of Brooklyn, New York. It's a place called Brennan & Carr. It's an unbelievable roast beef place on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue U. Anyway, he has a house on the beach in Breezy Point, and we go every weekend now. It's almost like my own summer house. He gave me a key, so we pack up the car, my wife, myself, and my 2 kids, and we go to Breezy for 2 days and spend the 2 days on the beach. They've got a restaurant called Kennedy right there on the beach, which is open. They serve drinks outside, so people are actually able to sit on the beach and drink and buy drinks. Guys, it's such an unbelievable experience to do stuff today that we took for granted 3 months ago. I actually can't wait. I can't wait to spend $13 on a drink just so I know I put my hand in my pocket, I took out money, I exchanged currency, got myself something to drink. It just feels normal. It feels right. So I can't wait to waste $60 on a couple of drinks at Kennedy's this weekend right there on the beach. I just want to do things that I got used to 3 months ago.
$13 for a virgin drink?
No, it's got alcohol in it.
Sid doesn't drink.
Oh, I'm sorry. They don't care. No, they don't. You're right, though. Yeah. You can buy a soda or an alcoholic drink, and it's the same price.
Yeah, usually. I mean, as soon as I buy drinks for my wife, Danielle has a couple of drinks. She's good like that, and the rest of the crew. So
she needs a couple to deal with you.
Wait a minute. You're going to wait. If you buy a $13 alcoholic beverage for your wife and you pull out a $20, do you expect change after all these people have been through out there working without a job or don't have a job?
Oh, come on. You bet your ass, Tony. I want $5 back.
I'm just checking.
And I want $5 back. I mean, listen, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the jokes, Rosenberg, Jewish, blah, blah, blah. You give a $7 tip on a $13 drink, you're not generous. You're a moron.
Now, come on, man. Do you realize these poor people in the hospitality industry? You're going to a restaurant. The people that work in the restaurant are in the hospitality industry. They're the ones that are getting screwed over by the Cuomos and the mayors and the Wolfs of the world who don't give a crap. Here in Pennsylvania, our governor had to buckle under and bow to the unions because they said, hey, Wolfie, you're shutting everything down. We have restaurants. We're allowed to do takeout orders, but we make money selling booze. So then the governor all of a sudden puts down his glasses and says, oh, okay, I'll let you sell booze too if you have a restaurant and you order food. And so that shows you the power. The power is in. If you got power, you can get these stew-nods like Wolf and Cuomo and that greaseball in New York.
Booze. They are allowed to sell pre-mixed drinks.
Yes.
So you drive to a restaurant, you pick it up, and you get a mixed drink to drive home with.
And nobody's going to have that drink in their car, wait for the ice to melt so that their vodka cran tastes like water. They're going to down that in the damn car. Are they not, Harry?
I'll get mine with no ice, Tone.
Oh. Just to be safe. And if you've got to drive a bunch of miles to get that drink, guys, you're not getting one. So you get yourself 2 or 3, and they're all gone in the next 5 minutes when you leave the place. So your moron, your governor, who has turned out to be one of the biggest creeps in the United States, is actually at that point not only encouraging but almost guaranteeing drunk driving.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing.
You know what's funny? But you know what's funny, guys, is look. Before this whole thing started, I knew the name of Andrew Cuomo. I'm in New York. Obviously, you guys know Wolf. You in Pennsylvania. But if you ask me, and I knew Gavin Newsom from California because I'm familiar with his ex-wife, Kimberly Guilfoyle, but if you ask me to mention the governors and the mayors in all these cities across America, maybe I could do 2 or 3. You know, I own a home in Florida, so I do Ron DeSantis. I never could have told you Tom Wolf's name. And what this thing has done, it has made us all learned about all of the states' mayors, city mayors, I should say, and states' governors. And when I start ranking the worst in the United States, and I got to pick my guy number 1, I'm sorry, Andrew Cuomo, but right there, side by side, is your guy in Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf.
Oh.
He's a real creep, a real creep.
He's a crumb creep coward. If Frank Rizzo were here today, he'd be right in his face saying, you're a crumb creep coward, and you're a drunk, because I know I can tell a drunk as soon the minute I see him.
A lush.
You're a lush. I know you're a lush by just looking at you.
You're a crumb bum.
Crumb bum.
That's funny. It was funny yesterday, actually, hearing the governor of New Jersey, who's another guy that's a creepy. He's not as bad as Cuomo or Wolf, but he's right there. He's very close. Phil Murphy. He actually brought up the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday in his press conference. He was talking about he spoke to the Giants owner, the football Giants, and hopefully they get football back in New Jersey. And I didn't realize that the 76ers actually work out in Camden, which of course is New Jersey, not Philadelphia. Not Pennsylvania, I should say. So he actually did mention the governor of New Jersey, your Philadelphia 76ers, yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, because the Sixers, when they were trying, the city of Philadelphia wouldn't give them any real estate to build a complex. So they said, screw you, we'll go to Camden on the waterfront, right across the river. So it's not that far. You can see the Sixers practice facility from the Philly side on the Delaware River. And so Camden said, yeah, we'll give you tax incentives. And, rich owners like the Sixers owner, what are they going to say? No, let's overpay and pay ridiculous taxes and buy a piece of overpriced land in Philly when they're going to give it to us for free in New Jersey.
No, it makes sense. You're right. Listen, Camden is a terrible place. I haven't been there, so, I've driven past it, but I just know that the former Heisman Trophy Award winner, who actually played his first taste of pro football with the Pittsburgh Maulers of the USFL, the great Nebraska running back Mike Rozier.
Yes.
Took a couple of bullets in the stomach walking around in Camden, New Jersey. That's what Camden's most famous for. Mike Rozier, Heisman Trophy Award winner, getting shot in the stomach.
That happens, man. You're just in the wrong place, wrong time. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. Come on, man.
Don't go casting dispersions on suburban Philadelphia, Sid.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You don't think there's places in New York City where you can't walk around anymore? I can't even walk around in Little Italy anymore. First of all, there is no more Little Italy. There's like 3 stores left. There's Ferraro's. Ferraro's is the only place, and you got to pay $18 for a cannoli.
Nah, that place I know the place you're talking about. It's not good either. The food in Little Italy is terrible, and I do their commercials for a few of their places. But the truth is, if you like Italian food, the last place you want to go is Little Italy. And by the way, if you like Chinese food, for the most part, the last place you want to go is Chinatown. But of course, right now it doesn't matter because both Little Italy and Chinatown are shut down, so you can't eat anywhere at this point. But the funny part is, places would be so great, those restaurants, when it comes to that cuisine, And for the most part, they're both awful. They're just tourist traps, guys.
Exactly.
They lure you in, you spend $80, and then the dinner's kind of lousy. So I wouldn't recommend any place in Little Italy or Chinatown.
Hey, Sid, what do you make of the states California and New York this week doing an about-face? First of all, everything's going to be shut down in California and through the end of the summer. L.A.'s shut down. And then all of a sudden Newsom comes out this week and says, we're welcoming, pro sports can open up in the state of California starting in June. How does that happen?
I mean, look, I don't know. Cuomo said the same thing,
right,
like you just said. But both governors said that we welcome pro sports, but nothing is open. They don't even. It doesn't matter what they say, guys. Well, what does it matter? They welcome until Rob Manfred figures out the owners and the union sit down and make a deal together. There's not going to be baseball anyway. Until Adam Silver and his players figure out a way to get the NBA restarted in July. There's no basketball anyway. Until Gary Bettman does it, the National Hockey League, it doesn't matter, and football doesn't start until September anyway. But the idea that Gavin Newsom, who, like you said, along with that psycho Eric Garcetti, you remember his father, Gil Garcetti,
yes,
during the OJ trial?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, his son Eric is the mayor of Los Angeles, so that twosome right there of Newsom and Garcetti, they don't want to open anything. Same thing with Cuomo. So it's very nice that the governor, we found out that Andrew Cuomo is a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, fantastic. It's very nice that the governors want sports, but it doesn't matter what they want. It's up to the commissioners of the leagues to get the leagues going again. And the truth is, when they do, there are no fans anyway. There's no businesses open in and around these arenas and stadiums. So it's all very hollow. When Newsom and Cuomo talk about that, they're trying to gain some points with the citizens and the people inside their states. But the truth is, they're full of it. They want to keep this lockdown going as long as possible. And it's very, very sad for the country. There are more people dying from that stupid virus.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And we're seeing the numbers every day. And then people are saying, well, there's one state, look, there's more positive tests because they're doing more testing. But are the people dying?
That's right.
And I don't want to get into that discussion. And we've already had that a million times. You do too.
But you know what I can't stand? But I got to tell you, I'm standing by the park right now, Riverside Park in New York, and a really attractive young lady just walked past me with a carriage and a baby. She's wearing a mask. A gentleman just walked past me wearing a med hat. He's wearing a mask. And these are relatively young people. They don't need to wear masks. It doesn't work outside. The heat and the humidity kill the virus. But they believe the local politicians and the idiotic local news, and they wear masks. And they make sure they're 10 feet apart from everybody.
Wait, is that a Dr. Tony Fauci impersonation?
He hasn't been right yet. He tells you one thing one day and the next thing another day. So for me, the saddest part of this is watching the sheep. People in America have become sheep. If your governor tells you to do something, if your local news tells you to do something, you do it, even though the science and the logic doesn't back it up. And that's why I've been the way I've been for 2 months. I'm glad I was that way, and I'm happy to see a lot of America now joining me in this fight against the nonsense that's been going on in this country now.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, Sid Rosenberg. Let me check back with me in 14 days, all right? And then tell me in 14 days about all this bragging about you going out.
Tony, I've had a bunch of 14 days in 3 months, haven't I? Haven't I had a bunch of 14 days in 3 months?
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait till 14. Did you see Governor DeSantis of Florida yesterday when some guy was asking him a question, and he said, "You guys were telling me, well, 14. We'll see you 14 days," because everybody was rooting for people to die in Florida. And you know what? I saw the stat last week in the New York Times, Sid, that 81,000 people in the months combined months of March and April forwarded their mail address from their homes in New York. And when it took it down to Miami.
Right.
So if all the people in New York have the virus, the most affected fan, they went to Miami. Shouldn't more Miami people be dead? And that was more than 14 days ago. That was 3 months ago.
Oh, that is such a great point. I'm so glad you said that. You're exactly right. I mean, I got my own relatives and friends who live in Boca, who live in Fort Lauderdale. They went down 3 months ago, and they're fine. Look, Ron DeSantis did a tremendous job. Unlike Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania or Andrew Cuomo here in New York, who shut the world down and continues to do that, this guy, no old people died. Very few old people died in his community. Unlike my governor, who literally killed 6,000 elderly people by putting them back in nursing homes, knowing that the COVID was there. That didn't make any sense at all. DeSantis has done a terrific job, and I've got a lot of friends and family in South Florida. Like I said, I still own a home in Boca Raton. And they're out. They're working today. They're on the beach. They're at JB's in Deerfield. They're at bagel stores in Boca Raton. They're at the gym on Glades Road right now in Boca Raton. They are living life. And people like him, Ron DeSantis, you're right. They wanted that guy to die. They want me to die. Guys, nothing would make these people happier. That loudmouth Sid Rosenberg, who has said from day one, this virus has been a huge overreaction, and it's all about politics. And it's really what's going on now is much more dangerous than the actual virus. These people want me to die so they can say, look at this idiot. This guy kept talking. Now look at him. But you know what? I'm getting stronger, tanner, better looking, and younger every day. And in the end, I'm going to look at you right in your face and say, I told you so. I told you so.
Sid, I've lost 15 pounds and developed a short game during this whole thing. I mean, it's been unbelievable.
Harry, I knew you lost 15 pounds, but I had no idea you could putt now. Look at you.
That's exactly right.
See,
yeah.
It's good for you.
60-degree wedges off of tight lies, man. Got to use the bounce, Sid.
Oh, my God.
Just stay out of the subways. Have you been to the subways since the governor and
He's there every day.
Scrubbed them
What are you
down?
talking about it? I haven't missed one day on the subway, not one day. And, they started about 3 weeks ago. They shut them down between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning for 4 hours. And really, they shut them down because they came to the realization, Tony and Harry, oh, my God, we've got a homeless problem. They're going to tell you they shut it down to clean it and clean off the virus. In the meantime, by the way, the CDC comes out yesterday and says, well, we're not really sure anymore that you can get the virus from surfaces. They actually said that yesterday.
Yep.
The real deal was we've got a tremendous homeless problem in this city, and it's really dangerous, and it's disgusting. And they figured, here's our chance to get these low-life vagrant bums off the train, so we're going to clean them and kick them off. And the truth is, they should have been doing this for the last 20 years, for the last 10 years, since that idiot de Blasio was in charge. His wife was in charge of the Thrive program here in New York, $1 billion project that went completely to waste, all in an effort to calm down the crazies. And all they had to do was do exactly what they're doing right now without using COVID-19 as an excuse. Get these bums off the subway, put them in some housing place somewhere, put them in a shelter somewhere, and now all of a sudden the trains are clean, there's no homeless, there's no crime. They're going to say it's all about COVID-19. Once again, nonsense.
And you know what they should do? What they did in San Francisco, put them up in like the Waldorf Astoria or in Marina del Rey.
Yeah.
In the great hotels.
And pay for all their alcohol and drugs.
Exactly, man.
Hey, they are doing some of that here. I saw that story. That's right. They're actually giving them the methadone, and they're giving them like illicit drugs. They're doing the same thing here. They didn't put them up in a fancy place like the Waldorf Astoria, but they're at the Pennsylvania Hotel, which is right across the street from Madison Square
I know
Garden.
exactly where it is.
And what they're doing, guys, is they're putting homeless there, and this is even better. And this is where people like Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo are really, really disgusting people. This whole criminal bail reform and they're letting prisoners out of jail because they didn't do anything really all that bad, or now because they may get the COVID-19. Like, what do I care if a prisoner gets COVID-19? I hope they die in there. They're prisoners. They're bad people. But now, between letting out the prisoners and the homeless, they take hotels in the city and they give them to these people. They give them to these people. So when this thing is over in a month or two, who's going to want to go to these hotels? Right now we're housing homeless people and criminals.
That's all right. They'll just spray it down a little bit. Get the blue lights in there. Even in nice hotels, you bring a blue light in there. You think it smells nice,
or UV light,
light. Yeah, kill anything.
You know what? Now that you mention, I'm a big talker. I used to, when I was growing up. Oh my God! Even after that, who am I kidding? There's a couple of short-stay hotels, Tony and Harry, in New York. Queens has a couple. One is called the Q Motor Inn by St. John's University. Sheepshead Bay has the Windjammer. Brooklyn had a place called the Brooklyn Bridge.
He knows all of them all by name.
I know them all. Listen, guys, 4 hours, $52. That included the movies, and I was there almost every weekend. So you're right. Who am I to talk about the homeless and the criminals being at hotels? When I went to places, quite frankly, that are 10 times worse, I couldn't wait to go.
Wow. Hey, Louis Carnesecca and P.J. Carlissimo gave me a lot of references up there, brother. Between the Seton Hall and the St. John's connections, those guys knew a thing or two about what was going on up there. You know what I mean?
Louis especially at St. John's forever, but certainly PJ had that great run. I remember that well because my sister, I've got 3 sisters. I got 2 older sisters, and I got a baby sister who lives in Parkland, Florida, Elizabeth. Lizzie went to Michigan, and she used to live with these 3, Jewish sluts. They were her housemates, and I banged every one of them, by the way. So I would go out to Michigan. So I was going to Ann Arbor and stay in her apartment over the weekend, and we go to Charlie O's on campus, and I bang one, and bang the other one. So I was there when Glenn Rice and Emil Robinson beat that P.J. Carlissimo Seton Hall basketball team to win the championship. That was a distant memory. Of course, their housemates, that's a fond memory.
1989,
That's
I
great,
think,
great.
man.
Nobody can turn into banging his sister's roommates.
Jewish sluts, no less.
Jewish sluts.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I saw them. Weren't they here in Philly a couple of weeks ago at the TLA before they shut it down, the Jewish sluts?
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. What do you mean, Tony? You're not going to get that same story from like Stephen A. Smith or Reese Davis? Come on.
No, of course. No, listen, I don't. When a slut's around, I don't discriminate against race, color, religion, or anything. Sexual preference. If there's a slut around,
it's just a way to differentiate them.
These are really clean cut, Tony and Harry. Clean cut Jewish snobs. These are the real chaps, the Jewish American princesses.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones that you thought you had to buy, like Cartier, or take them to the fanciest restaurants, or only stay at the Ritz. Well, my daddy bought me a Porsche when I was 16. These are these types of girls. And let me tell you something. 3 shots of Jägermeister, let's go. 4 hours.
We have tape of one of them. Exactly.
Hey Sid, what did you think of some of the baseball players coming out and basically whether they had the pitcher down in Tampa saying that he's not going to play unless he gets his full money? Bryce Harper, a couple of these other guys.
You're talking about Blake Snell.
Yeah.
My dear friend Christopher Mad Dog Russo referred to as Ian Snell.
I know. We played his rant. We played his rant on the show earlier. Well, I love Mad Dog. That was for a guy who worked for MLB Network, and he still doesn't care because you know what? He's absolutely nobody will disagree with that rant.
No, nobody will. And that's Stalky. And I had the fortunate opportunity, as you know, Tony and Harry, to work right alongside. I hosted that show a couple of years with Jody McDonald, the guy down in Philly, then Joe Beningo, Mike and the Mad Dog, and had a chance to see Chris for 5 years every single day. And I really loved the guy. I really did. He was the type of guy that'll grab your butt and give you a high five, unlike Mike Francesa walking out of the studio. But his rant was brilliant yesterday. It was. And it's true. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, we're all diehard baseball fans. Bryce Harper is not that far removed from starting a $300 million contract. He can certainly go a couple of months without getting paid.
Hey, he's playing Fortnite on Twitch, man.
Yeah,
Bro.
exactly. I know. And you got guys here that couldn't play Fortnite on Twitch because they shut their lights off like a month ago because they can't pay for the electricity or food. The kids aren't eating. So when you see the billionaires, the owners, fighting with the millionaires, the players, and you've got, at this point now, guys, as you both know, just under 40 million people out of work in the United States, baseball's got to be smarter. Manfred's got to jump in here because at the very least, they just look bad. Now, look, don't give me the nonsense. You're going to lose fans because history says that's not true.
Right.
After all the strikes, the fans came back. After we saw the video of Rice knocking out his girlfriend in an elevator, football fans still come back. They'll all come back eventually because we love our sports, but it looks really, really bad. If the NBA starts in July and the NHL restarts in July and football starts in September or October and these prima donnas in baseball don't play, we'll come back. But the sport will never look the same. It'll be really, really bad PR for baseball. They got to figure this out, these guys. Right now, they look like a bigger enemy than COVID-19, to be honest.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's building each day because with all these stupid rules that they're throwing out there, that even the players and managers say that there's no way they can do all this different stuff. And then if the NBA and the NHL start playing before baseball gets going this summer, they're really going to look bad. It's going to look worse. Rob Manfred, I don't know if he can survive this if this thing blows up and they don't have a season.
Well, I think that's going to be the case. I really do. Gun to my head right now, I just don't see it. I know that everybody's very optimistic we're going to get baseball, but I don't see it. I think what you just said is going to happen. I think we'll get basketball and hockey before baseball, and that'll be really sad considering, from the very beginning of this thing back in March, baseball contended all the way through, and I've seen Rob Manfred interviewed a million times, and I've interviewed myself, Brian Cashman, and Randy Levine from the Yankees a couple of times. They've always contended we're going to get baseball this year. Guys, we're going to get baseball this year. And if we did, we thought it was because of the virus. We thought it was because the players couldn't get on the field at the same time. And if it turns out to be because of money, because of money in this day and age with the country falling apart, shame on baseball. Doggy was 100% right.
Yeah, especially when they're playing baseball halfway around the world in countries that had the virus too.
I mean, we got Russians, we got sex dolls in South Korean soccer games, and we can't get baseball players to sit in the stands 6 feet apart? Come on.
Maybe if they had sex dolls here, they'd sit in the stands.
Yeah, you know any sex doll manufacturers? Maybe if you promise the players that since they can't be with their families, their wives, girlfriends, or either one of them, that we can give them sex dolls while they're sitting in the stands in an empty stadium, because the sex doll is not going to have. You don't know what the sex doll's been, but you know where the player's been.
Let's review that question again. Okay, all three of you, Tony, Harry, and the young lady, the beautiful young lady. The question was focused to Sid Rosenberg. Do you know where you can get a sex doll? Okay. Let's act as if you guys never met me before until this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a gun to your head and said, if you get this answer wrong, you're dead. Tony, do you think there's a chance that Sid Rosenberg knows where to get a sex doll?
Absolutely. Right. It used to be 42nd Street when I worked in New York in the 80s. There was like a sex doll shop every 10 feet. Next to the electronic, there was either an electronics store or a sex shop. You remember those days on 42nd between Broadway and 8th?
I remember them well before Rudy Giuliani cleaned up the city. The good news is you would survive because you got the answer right.
Yes.
Exactly right. Come on, man.
Hey, Sid,
baseball, I can help him with that. Yes, sweetheart.
this is Miss Robin. I believe all three of us would have survived.
Yeah. He's got him in one of his closets next to his Joseph Abboud suits.
Yes, I actually think Miss Robin would have been the first one to get it right. Because let me tell you something, Miss Robin. I haven't forgotten you. My one time on the show when you talked about, you compared me to, who was the exact comparison again? But it was somebody who had lived about 100 lives. You made the point that seemingly I do everything wrong, and I, drugs and drinking and steroids.
Rolling
and all these
Stones,
things.
Keith
Richards.
I said that
There
you were
it is.
like the Keith Richards of sports radio because you've put everything in your body. You're still here. So
Hey,
no
it's
matter,
his body, his choice, Robin.
Yes,
That's right.
but my point is that it doesn't matter what comes your way. Like, I have no fear that anything's going to happen to you with COVID-19.
Yeah, no way.
I mean, that is not going to kill you.
Well, let me tell you, Miss Robin, I swear to God, I told more people about you and what you said there because, and a quick story here, guys, I was a horrible asthmatic when I was a kid. I had my first asthma attack when I was 5 weeks old. I was so bad, Theodore didn't work. I had to go right to the hospital to get adrenaline shots. If, in fact, I was suffering from an asthma attack, it was that bad for me. And the doctors said to my mom and dad, they said, listen, this kid can never smoke. So I did about a pack and a half a day of Parliaments. This kid can never do drugs. So I did cocaine for 32 years. This kid could never drink. His heart is going to stop. So I went to rehab for alcoholism twice. So the point being, Miss Robin, that when they tell me not to do something or to do something, I'm going to go the other way. And at this point, I got 53 years of experience that says, I'm right, they're wrong.
And the crowd goes wild here. Our simulated crowd here.
Now, if only he could have gone the other way on most of his football bets, he'd be in a much better state.
Exactly right, man.
Yeah, I did leave that part out. One of my friends once said to me, you don't get a front seat at GA for picking them right.
Hey, you know what? You got to be bad at something every once in a while. You got to be wrong sometimes, is what I should say. Not bad at it, because you don't always pick losers. You pick it. That's rolling the dice. Everything else you did, you knew you could beat. The great
That's
Sid
right.
Rosenberg. Put your hands together, everybody. Sex dolls in our basement studio here. The wine cellar. Even the sex dolls are standing up at attention.
We got Sid today and Lenny Dykstra tomorrow. What a way to go into Memorial Day weekend.
It doesn't
Tony.
get any better than this to start a weekend.
Oh, Lenny Dykstra, God, it's funny. I actually saw his son not that long ago because his son, you guys know this, his son is married to Jamie Lynn Stigler, who of course played Meadow in Soprano.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to him now and then because she's friends with my friend Dolores from the Housewives. So I did see his son not that long ago, and believe it or not, Lenny literally direct messaged me on Twitter maybe 20 minutes ago talking about some crime series that's on about him and wanted to know if I was a part of it, which I'm not.
I'm going to be a part of it. I said yes, Sid, and you should contact him, man. You be a part of this. It's going to be a fun
you'll like
thing.
this one,
What
actually.
is it?
We got to run. I'll tell you after. I'll DM you.
All right, I love you.
The great Sid Rosenberg.
Goodbye, Sid.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm worn out
He
now.
wears you out. I was just going to say that.
We're coming right back.
Sid makes Lenny Dykstra sound like Winston Churchill.
God, he's awesome. The Keith Richards of sports radio.
It's so hard for the media to say when somebody's a Democrat. Here's the story. South Philly elections worker admits to taking bribes to add votes. Dominic J. DeMuro, 73, faces up to 15 years in prison when he's sentenced in June. South Philly election worker with an Italian name who supposedly went into a voting booth, into the room a couple years ago during local elections, and kept walking into the voting booth when it was emptied and then do a casting another ballot, walk back out, walk back in, and then. But they can't. If this guy was a Republican in the city, first of all, there aren't any Republicans. Secondly, this would be the front page story on the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News.
Does it say how many times he actually voted?
Supposedly a bunch, and that's where they got him. And so he pled guilty. So he admitted that he did it.
Right.
So he can plea himself
down. That's not
down.
going to do anything. Play action reel, alcohol, lingerie, and sex dolls. I love this show.
You're not getting this anywhere else, kids.
It is, and we talk. And we throw some sports in. Tony, are you too? By the way, guys, I just ordered a quarantine T-shirt.
Beautiful.
Sweet. Yeah, that is the one that is flying off the shelves so far. Although we have some great designs coming up.
Did you see this
soon.
video of this dude that was ODing in Kensington?
No.
This is it's here in Philly. Guy's got a Holmesburg shirt on, so you know it's Philly, and he's ODing on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then some guy comes over saying, hey, some guy with Narcan came over and gave him an injection and saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not staged. You can see it. They're all junkies. The guy, I recognize the guy with the hat on. He gives him a shot of Narcan.
You recognize that guy?
Yeah, because we've seen him. He's done stuff with Tony Luke because he's out there trying to save people's lives.
He's a doctor, yeah.
He's a guy that walks around with Narcan. So, look, he gives the guy the Narcan. Look at this dude. It saves his life. Now watch, this guy gets up. He was almost dead on the street.
Now he injected that in his arm, or is that like the adrenaline
it's an
shot
injection.
in your heart?
I thought it was the thing that you just blow. It's something that goes up the nose.
Now watch
right?
what he does to the guy that gave him the Narcan.
Does he attack him?
Watch. You got to hear the video too.
I can't see.
He kicks him in the
He
balls.
kicks him right in the.
Oh my God!
What?
He kicks the guy in the balls.
Did he want to die?
He said no. He said you effed up my high, man.
Oh yeah.
The guy was dying on the street. Look at him.
Yeah,
He
usually
had drool coming out of
Matt
his
and
mouth.
Livermore said usually it's a nasal inhaler. That's what I thought.
Well, maybe that's what's stuck in his nose there.
Yeah, it's a
But, look.
fast. It shoots something up their nose.
We're back.
We're back, Tony.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Oh, yes. If you're just joining us, sorry we have not really delved into the Nick Foles, Carson Wentz debate that's raging around many parts of the area in which we live, Harry. What we have today so far, alcohol, lingerie, sex dolls.
And Sid Rosenberg.
And Sid Rosenberg and sports. And we mix in a little sports.
Right. We had Jim from Cheltenham with a throwback to 1980.
Brawl with the Pirates and the Phillies back on this date. We gave you NFL news.
Tom Brady's got a new documentary.
Yeah, called
The Man in the Arena.
The Man in the Arena. In fact, when you read that quote from Roosevelt, that was Teddy Roosevelt, right?
Correct.
It sounds like something that John Facenda would narrate for NFL films.
No doubt.
All it needs is you listen to the words, you read the words. That's one of the things that has to be put to music.
Sam Spence Orchestra.
Exactly right. Still, though, when you have to explain what Man in the Arena means, you think the average Joe Schmo who's watching these 30 for 30s, and I'm not saying everybody who watches them is dumb. It's educational.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. But again, I don't get it. Would you have named it Man in the Arena?
Probably not, but I mean, now that he did, and now that I know where it comes from, I'm interested to know a little bit more.
Yeah, why?
But that's me.
Why did that speech speak to him extra?
Right, it resonated
with
him somewhere. You know.
Now, David Conrad in Vegas says, can TV show send Sid a brown bag to breathe into before he comes on the next time?
Or send me more Tito's.
Or send me more Tito's. Now, we got a lot of the stories, Harry. You know, we love Florida stories on the show. People always request them. Luckily, we have a Florida correspondent, Miss Robin, who's always scouring the bowels of the Internet, looking for the latest, greatest, juiciest, freshest cuts of Florida. And the best part about Florida stories is that you really don't have to look that hard for them. In fact, on each and every day, there are more Florida stories than can fit an entire 3-hour show. So we go through, it's sort of like, you know, you go into the butcher shop or you go into a supermarket. Now that, back when they had a lot of choices, you look at the steaks and you say, do I want a porterhouse?
You want a different cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to sirloin. That's cheap stuff. I can go get that at one of those places in New York where they're cooking it in the windows. You ever see that? They still have those. You walk by and they're like the cheap steaks, and they're gristly, and they got, it's cheap cuts.
Yeah.
But it's a steak, and it's cheap. So what we look for the choicest cuts.
Right.
Sort of like
aged beef.
Not just aged, Kobe beef. And there's another one like ragu, right? Isn't there another
Wagyu.
one?
Wagyu.
Yeah.
Not ragu.
Not ragu. That's cheap spaghetti
cheapest
sauce.
spaghetti sauce.
That's spaghetti sauce that if you brought that in somebody's Italian house, they'd whack you over the head with a rolling pin.
Get out.
Get out is actually right. Are you serious right now?
Wagyu beef.
Wagyu. You can't even find that.
It's tough.
I thought it was pretty tender.
No, I mean it's tough to find.
Come on,
right. But aren't there websites devoted to Florida stories?
Yes, there's a radio station in Florida called Florida Man Radio.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
The one thing about that station, they never run out of content.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You can have a sports station in Florida. What the hell are they talking about?
Right.
Well, Tom Brady every day now, luckily. Because Tom Brady jerseys are like the top. In fact, every jersey I don't know where people are getting money to buy jerseys now if they can't buy food and they don't have a job. But they had the story yesterday that the top 10 selling jerseys in the state of Florida are all.
No, the top 10 selling jerseys
in the country,
anywhere are Florida jerseys now.
Well, Tua has to be one of them.
Yes, but Brady, for example, it's not just Tom Brady's Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
it's Tom Brady's this color jersey.
5
Tom Brady's
out of
this
the top
jersey.
10 are
Brady
Brady's new
Oh,
jerseys.
wow.
And
in
of all the
every-
top 10 are a combination of Florida players.
Right.
Of all players in the National Football League.
Gronk is on there now.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
true.
Yeah, so you look at the players, between Tua, Gronk, and Brady.
Yeah.
And now, when you buy somebody's jersey, you just don't get the jersey. You got to get this jersey and the retro jersey. I'm sure
The
Tom
alternate
Brady,
jersey.
Tom Brady will wear
The throwback.
the creamsicle one. I
love
guarantee
that.
you they bust out the Tom Brady creamsicle.
Absolutely.
It's a good look.
Would you buy that, Aaron?
Absolutely.
The
I would.
ladies
I don't buy
like the
jerseys then.
creamsicles.
Damn right.
Hey, ladies. They'll like it, too.
Hey, ladies.
All right, we got this other story, though, the Florida story, Robin.
Yes.
And I think it's time for you to put on your Florida hat because this time it's a Florida man, but it's not a dumb Florida man story. We don't always look for the dumbest Florida people, the ones that look like they're on meth and stuff. Let's get to the last night, an igloo saved my life. We're going to title this one, and we go to our correspondent, Miss Robin.
So let's go down to Pasco County, Florida, shall we?
I know Pasco. Been to many, many, many times right there by Tampa.
Now, 2 men were stranded in the Gulf of Mexico after their boat sank a couple of miles off of Hudson Beach. Have you ever been down there?
It's right near my mom's house, probably 15, 20 minutes away.
They were in a 16.5-foot fishing boat, and after they'd finished fishing, they realized that there was a puddle starting, and they tried to bail it out, but it was too late. Boat was going down.
Oh, the boat was taking on water.
Yeah, and it's not one of these cheap. It's not one of these little crappy boats where you're going out in the ocean. This was a decent boat.
Decent boat.
It wasn't crappy. It wasn't an aluminum boat. It was a fiberglass fishing
like a
boat.
Boston whaler.
Yeah, it wasn't a Boston whaler. They don't sink.
I mean,
Boston whalers
you're
don't
not
sink.
taking a crappy fishing boat 2.5 miles off the coast. You want something a little bit solid, but we don't know exactly what happened. But it went down. They realized it was going down. They did have life vests on, but they quickly they said, grab the cooler, grab the beer.
Well, there's probably some Tito's in there.
Yeah, you got to take when you're a good fisherman.
Yeah.
Even if you're a bad fisherman, especially if you're a bad fisherman, you got to take the cooler full of beer, right? So these guys go out. Do we have video, Robin?
We have a little bit of video, but they.
So the group they tried to call the Coast Guard.
Yeah, they did try to call the Coast Guard, but they couldn't get a good signal. They didn't know if anybody had heard them or not. So they put out a distress signal. There was another boat that heard the distress signal that was somewhat in the area, and so they started looking out. They knew that the guys had already. There was no way that the guys were still in a boat.
No,
so
they were in the water.
They were in the water, but about way in the distance, they saw something white floating, and they went towards the white. Guess what?
It wasn't a cracker out there, was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was, and you came up with this one, Tony.
Last night, Harry, you know what happened,
right? It wasn't a DJ that saved their life, Tony. It was
a cooler.
An igloo.
Last night, an igloo saved my life. In Tampa Bay,
and it
baby.
really did. If it hadn't been for that igloo, they would not have been able to see those two guys.
And by the way, the guys that were out there were not fishermen. They were just boaters with a cooler
but here
full
you
of
can
booze.
see right here on the Twitch stream, you can see that.
And the video's on News Channel 8 down there, the finest locally produced broadcast in the Tampa Bay area.
That doesn't look like a Yeti 110 ice down with some silver bullets.
No, these bros were just out there drinking, not fishing. Luckily, the fishermen were out there. See, it's center console. It's not a crappy boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fishermen had to go out there and fish their butts out.
But it was
last night. That's a cheap cooler. That looks like
that's not a
like
Yeti
$30. That's a
$110.
$30 igloo at the Kmart. You know what I mean?
Hey, whatever
Walmart.
works.
And so luckily they see
their beer cooler was a beacon of hope for them.
Look at that baby floating out there. Look like a coffin.
Those Yeti 110s are $500.
I know they are.
Yeah.
Nah, a couple of Stunads aren't taking a Yeti out in the boat when they're drinking. They weren't fishing. They were rescued by fishermen, Harry. What up, Coleman?
This is why you always drink beer. Bring beer with you wherever you go. It could save your life.
Or at least bring a cooler. You got to bring a cooler, Harry. If you're on a boat without a cooler, you are a rank amateur.
Yeah, you're not really on a boat.
You know what happens? You come
into our house, you should get your behind kicked.
Exactly right. Those guys luckily were saved.
Good.
There's a lot of boats out. They were socially distancing, at least, though, from the rest of the boats. In the meantime, coming up, Harry, Jason Whitlock from Fox Sports 1. We'll get him. He's got a lot of strong opinions, too, Harry, and that's what we love on the show. That's coming up. Stick around.
Hand wash.
I gave you the phone number that ends in 89, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oops. Everybody's still enjoying the hand sanitizer since I'm just listening to the commercial on the other.
Yes, it's good stuff, and it lasts a long time. You got to shake it up, though. See, it all goes to the bottom. See that? Look, you can tell that's all the tequila in there.
The agave, Tony Bruno.
See how everything is a song to me? Like, would you think of Last Night an Igloo Saved My Life?
I never even knew of that one.
No, it's not. It's Last Night a DJ Saved My Life is the song we played.
Last night a DJ saved my life.
That's what we were playing in the background.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
You have to find accompanying music.
No.
Yeah.
I gave you a lyric from a song during that.
Yes.
Red Parent Wilson says, cheap cooler or not, whatever floats your boat.
Exactly.
a Yeti 110 iced down with some silver bullets. That's from a song.
Which
You can
one?
buy me a boat.
I don't know that song.
I don't know that one either.
It's
What
that
is
country song?
Oh, yeah, it's
of course.
great.
Of course.
It's great.
If you ever trying to think of a song that has to do with either dogs, women, beer, or trucks, go country.
Exactly. I like this dude that's on that Speak for Yourself show with Whitlock.
What's her name?
No, the guy that he played for the Bills.
Oh, that's
He went to Columbia.
Yeah, I know him too.
What the hell's his name?
We were hanging. Do you have the picture of me with those guys, Robin?
With
Jason and his partner on Speak for Yourself. He played. He was an Ivy League guy. Played for the Giants. Now I can't. His
No, he
name's-
played for the Bills mostly, I think.
No, but he played for the Giants too. But you're right. He did play for the Bills. And he's really good on the air. He was at ESPN
Yeah, he is
too.
good.
Both Jason and
Why the hell can't I think of his
can't
name?
think of his name either because I'm brain dead.
Marcellus Wiley.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's good.
Robin,
I know. I'm trying to think of where was
they
that?
were at the
Probably at the
Super Bowl, right?
No, they were at the Super Bowl too, but they were also at the BSM convention.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Barrett's
yeah,
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go, boys.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Thanks for joining us. And you just are. A lot of reaction to our last night in Igloo Saved My Life story down in Florida. A couple guys on a boat with a cooler. It wasn't a really expensive one, Harry, but it doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat as people are responding to the story. Yes, and you wash your troubles down the drain when you go out there. The cheaper, the cooler. It doesn't matter. It saves your life, Harry. It tasted great. It was less drowning, too, I think. It was the motto those guys had when they got back in the water. But anyway, that was a Tampa Bay update without Tom Brady even mentioned once in it, Harry. That's pretty hard to do these days. Can you talk about Tampa Bay and not bring up Tom Brady right now?
No, you really can't. I mean, I'm efforting Bruce Arians. He's been tough.
Yeah, where
to
the
get
hell's
on.
he been? Is he out fishing now?
I don't know. He's
it's not my style to
he's
rip.
ghosting me right now.
Is he ghosting
you?
you?
He's ghosting me.
We're having a couple people do that, which is
But Bruce Arians is a Temple guy. Harry did games with him. I went to Temple. Harry went to Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I covered Bruce Arians at Temple. I've interviewed him a million times.
On the famous Temple graduates, you both are on there.
And he's featured in Caliendo's latest video. Remember the viral video?
Absolutely. He does a great and we have a guy who probably wears more Kangol hats than Bruce Arians.
Right.
Joe Kraus.
That's true.
The connections are endless here. It's like the 6 degrees of separation from Bruce Arians. But yeah, Jason Whitlock's going to join us. Does that great show with Marcellus Wiley, another guy I work with both.
Speak for yourself is the show.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for both of these guys. No, they'll speak for themselves. Jason Whitlock. What do Jason Whitlock, Marcellus Wiley, and I all have in common, Robin? Let's see if you can get this one now.
Bald.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one, too, yes. We've all shaved our heads. I need to get the music I have.
You attended the BSM Summit?
Well, that's different, yeah.
Whitlock went to Ball State.
It has nothing to do with college, Harry. See if you can guess the answer here.
Work for Fox?
That is part of the correct answer.
Okay.
Worked for every single station?
No, that's not. That's not true.
network?
It's close, but not true.
I don't know. I'm out of options.
Yeah.
We both worked for both ESPN and Fox.
Oh, okay.
There's the correct answer, Harry. Sorry, you're not in the Showcase Showdown today. That is bad knowledge.
Wow.
Sorry. No Fault Walt on the Twitch said the best answer yet, which I'm not going to say.
Large penis?
That's what he did say.
Not the detachable penis, which is a great song that Robin has played on the show many, many times. Even Joe C. knows that song. You remember that one, Joe?
Detached. That's an actual song.
That must have been played on the podcast because I have not heard that song.
No, it was played on the radio back in the day.
I can't think of the artist, but yeah.
Robin actually found it one night. I don't know how it came up. Like most of the stuff on the show.
How did it come up just now?
It was because I was thinking because somebody said penis on the
The song is called Detachable Penis by King Missile.
King Missile, not King Harvest, who did Dancing in the Moonlight.
That's a great song.
Yes. This is it. This is if you want to download this weekend for your self-quarantine, you want the kids to sit around, say, yeah, Mom,
Now,
remember that song?
I did not know about the song. Speaking of kids, my children when they were in elementary school, this was a big deal.
Really?
And they were the ones that pointed it out to me. They knew every single word. I'm so proud of them.
I woke up this morning with a bad hangover, and my penis was missing again.
This sounds like the guy from Cake, like the way they do songs. You sort of just talk it.
Yes.
Right?
This is deep, though. This song is very deep.
Yeah.
Or I can rent it out when I don't need it. But now and then I go to a party.
I think they play this at the Korean soccer games.
Joe Quill says he heard about this from Beavis and Butthead, which is,
really?
you know,
Yeah.
obviously.
So I called up the place where the party was. They hadn't seen it either.
What's the name of this group now?
King Missile.
For some reason, I leave it there.
I think I get the idea.
Yeah.
I got it, too. Enough of that. This did not make the rock block workforce block today on local hard rock. Well, they don't call it hard rock anymore.
Yeah, what would they do? They'd be like the Memorial Day 500 or something.
Exactly
of
right.
Classic rock.
Let's go to our man Joe C., who has engineered and been a part of many of those top 500 rock classics of all time weekend programming.
That would be more of a deep cut weekend, I feel, sort of thing.
Deep cuts?
Yeah, when they do the...
So you bring Earl Bailey in for a couple of shifts?
But I feel it would be that where they have the
Love Earl
songs,
Bailey.
I do too.
The songs they normally don't play that they'll do for a weekend. Or they usually only play them between midnight and say 5 a.m.
See, why is it that these old? Now listen, I love all kinds of music, but why is it that oldie stations now on radio, when they've got decades, I mean thousands and thousands of songs to choose from, still play like the same 150 songs all the time?
They test well.
Yeah.
Testing, man. Give me some fresh hits. Give me some fresh jam now.
Because I've had people try to argue with me at events about why we don't play more stuff, and it's like, one, I have no choice over any of that. If
You're not the program
You have
director.
access to me, therefore I have no power over anything. But like, I've had a kid that tried to rile me up, and I agreed with them, and it pissed him off. I'm like, I get it. You're sick of the songs. But if it gets the ratings that they want, they're going to do it that way.
Right. So that's why we got to play songs like Detachable Penis, so that people get the best variety of hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
And that's why in mid-May, when there's nothing going on, you got to go Wentz and Foles. Because that's playing the hits.
I guarantee you more people will be interested in discussing that hit classic from back in the, had to be 70s, right, Robin?
No.
80s?
No,
I
if
think
it's
it's
Beavis
90s.
and Butthead, it's 90s.
Yeah, I think it's
90s? Was it that fresh?
Probably.
It'll be on Fresh Cuts. Fresh Deep Cuts this weekend on a radio station near you.
See, now, if you got to get it back to the Eagles, Tony.
Yeah.
Rather than Wentz and Foles, wouldn't today have been more topical to discuss what veteran running back out of the three that they're allegedly looking at you would want in an Eagles uniform? Sean McCoy is one of them.
Yeah, he's out pimping himself all over the place.
Carlos Hyde or Devontae Freeman.
No, I don't care about that. The bigger story today, if you want to keep it to the Eagles, did you see who addressed the Eagles today on one of those virtual jam sessions? You had Doug Peterson, the coach.
Okay.
You had Brandon Graham, Super Bowl hero.
Mm-hmm.
And you had, if I gave you 100 guesses on who the special guest was on today's session.
A musical artist?
No. A basketball coach addressed the Eagles today and was spitting great knowledge to them. Do you know who that was?
It's too easy to say Jay Wright.
It was not Jay Wright.
All right.
Jay Wright would be too logical. They'll wait for Jay for the season so he can come out and motivate the guys and tell them, about 2 national championships. And the Eagles have a Super Bowl, and Brandon Graham was important. I can't believe you didn't see this.
Would it be Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson is the correct
answer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow, because I'm thinking Last Dance, and he's very topical right now.
Let's be honest right now. If you're the Eagles or any NFL team, who are you going to bring in to motivate a couple of guys on a Zoom session to talk about the NFL?
Well,
Phil Jackson.
I mean, you got to
listen.
figure,
He's one of the all-time greats,
right? But you got to figure a lot of these guys watched The Last Dance, so it's kind of fresh in there. Many might not have paid attention to Phil Jackson when they were kids, but now they know, The Last Dance. I think it'd be pretty cool.
No, listen, I love Phil Jackson. I used to talk to him all the time in L.A.
He's an interesting cat.
He really is.
Yeah.
He really is. You talk about next level,
right?
This guy reads like weird stuff.
Oh yeah, like philosophy and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean this guy is really nuanced.
Who would you say is more interesting to talk to, Bill Walton or Phil Jackson? Because they're both very similar in that way.
Well, if I'm going to talk to Bill Walton, I'm going to but I'm sure Phil partakes too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Zen master, man. I actually bought my first little Zen garden when I lived in Marina Del Rey because of Phil Jackson. You know the one where you have the sand on it? It's like a board, like a little trough. And you put the sand in there, and then you rake it in the day. And you have the stones, and you have to make sure your Zen is all right.
Does it have one of those little trees that you have to manicure with like a tiny scissors,
no,
a bonsai tree?
You can they're sold separately.
Oh, okay.
You don't get the bonsai automatically. That's an additional
That's an extra
charge.
$19.99.
Exactly. You have to pay separate shipping and handling for that baby.
Now, did you leave the Zen garden with the house? Or
No,
did
I always took that. That's bad juju. That messes up your feng shui.
And then we had to get rid of it when the cats mistook it for a
letterbox.
Cat box.
Yeah, the cats would go in there. No, we didn't have cats in L.A.
No, we didn't.
I was just going to say, what would that do to your feng shui?
I'd have stoners walk by my house in Venice and pee in it. At least they were trying to be nice. They didn't pee up against the side of my wall like they do now everywhere in California. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, enough about that. Coming up, Jason Whitlock will join us. You know what else we have? Oh, we'll have to talk more about this Phil Jackson Zoom session. So what do you think they talked about? I didn't see it because I saw John Clark. John McMullen was posting. Everybody was posting about it.
Wait, McMullen was on it?
I don't know if he was on it. He saw it. He was commenting on it because he's a football reporter.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking for football stories. We'll have another football story this hour, too. The one I wanted to get to yesterday, which is really fascinating, that is the dude on an unnamed NFL player.
On a plane, right?
On a plane.
Yeah.
Had a situation develop, and now he's suing United Airlines. A lot of guys would probably say, nah, that was quite all right, honey.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You want to do what? We will explain that story later on this hour, Harry. But how about feng shui and Zen garden? Add that to the list. If you tried to make a list of the topics that we've discussed today, you go from coolers, you're talking about porn. Well, we didn't really talk porn today. You're talking about beer coolers, talking about detachable penises.
Chris Pratt's emails.
Chris Pratt's deleted emails from his kid accidentally.
Melanotan.
Tanning. Sid Rosenberg abusing everything on the face of the earth.
A Russian nurse with underwear.
Russian nurse, yeah. I mean, it's great. So, Phil Jackson, we know he's influencing NBA coaches because of the and people are still talking Last Dance. How long of a shelf life does the Last Dance talk have? We already exposed the pizza guy.
I think
what
till
other
June
angle?
1st.
In fact, we'll ask Jason Whitlock how long of a shelf life people in sports where there's no sports, because we're not going to have like full-fledged sports until July. We still have the golf and the auto racing and the soccer and all the other things going on. But when we have full-fledged sport, we're talking July at the earliest, right?
Yeah.
So can we milk the Last Dance? How far does it go, Harry?
Well, we haven't really touched on it much. So if we wanted to just start it in June, that could get us to July. Easily.
We touch on it every week.
Yeah, not much.
We're breaking it down. We had the pizza guy on.
This guy's doing 4-hour shows every day on it.
Well, ask Jason Whitlock. I'm going to give him the final word, as we like to say. Is he last danced out? We'll find out from him, because he's got to talk about it every day. On television, too. The great Jason Whitlock. And, of course, Marcellus Wiley will not be joining him on this call.
No, but he's great, too.
Oh, I love him. He's breaking down Ivy League football's upcoming season and who's going to win the Ivy. If you had to pick a winner in the Ivy, would it be Princeton or Harvard, Harry? I don't think Penn's very good.
I would say Harvard.
Probably.
Yeah.
They cheat a lot, too. Plus, they got a lot of money to pay guys. We're coming right back. Jason Whitlock. It's Tony and Harry. It is a thirsty Throwback Thursday, and we're having fun as per usual.
Yay! We have Norm Macdonald.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's coming on.
Oh, I love Norm Macdonald.
May 28th.
Josie, do you like Norm Macdonald?
I like him.
So that's
I enjoyed his work in Screwed and Dirty Work.
Next Thursday, May 28th.
I just love his whole cadence. I mean, he's just his whole feng shui.
I also like his Larry King.
Oh, yeah, his Larry King's phenomenal. People forget him on SNL.
Nick Mullen. I hope Phil Jackson, the coach, talked to the Eagles and not the executive Phil Jackson.
Exactly. Not the New York Knicks Phil Jackson. I know. That's why I said even he was commenting.
That's a great tweet.
It is.
I got a text. I text Sid, right? I tell him thanks. And he sent something to me even prior till I could peck it out. He goes, "You guys are an effing scream. Great. So great. Thanks for having me on, bro." I go, "Yeah, it was great stuff, Sid." He goes, "Me? You guys are great. I do a ton of these all week. Nothing comes close to your show."
Yes, we're going to talk sports with Norm Macdonald. Hello. You know what Norm Macdonald does?
Well, he's a poker man.
Not only that, he does like blow by blow on golf tournaments over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
He's really into golf.
Yeah.
He bets on golf.
Sure, so do I.
So Norm is going to do the interview, and then the last 10 minutes of the segment, Vivek Jain. Who's Vivek Jain is going to join him?
Vivek Jain.
Who?
Porn star, not Thomas Jane, of course,
Vivek
who was in
Jain.
Hung. And he was also he was one of the Punishers. He did one of those Punisher movies.
Oh.
He's nuts, man. We had him on the show in L.A.
Oh.
Thomas Jane is nuts.
Vivek Jain is
I know that
Associate Professor of Medicine.
And where?
UCSF.
That's the University of
California,
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know what they're doing together, but That's what's
Will
happening.
they be giving out prescriptions on the air to the 18th caller?
Oh, they're promoting a dating app they created called Loco, L-O-K-O.
Not For Loco.
For Loco.
What Loco? Yeah, Thomas Jane was great as Mickey Mantle in 61.
That's right. Yeah, he was
great there because you didn't know he was nuts.
Hung.
Seriously, he is one of the most out there
So
guys.
crazy.
I mean, when
He's
you talk
so-
to him, I mean, he's a great actor.
Like-
but in real life, this dude is out there.
Yeah, like...
We had him on a night show, and I had no idea what he was saying, man.
Really?
Yeah.
He was...
And he wasn't high?
He must have been.
I don't know. He could have been. But he was like Little Green Men kind of, woo!
I wish we had that interview. I would like to listen to that back.
Yeah, because I don't think we understood what was going on at the
Because,
time.
nothing throws me off. I mean, I could talk to the wackiest, straightest, and even I was like, wow, man.
Dude.
I'd
wait.
When do we come back?
I'd wait.
Yeah, and that's his home number, by the way, so...
This is my favorite drop that I have in here of.
Sorry.
How cool is that?
You know who that is, don't you?
Play it again.
How cool is that?
Who is that?
You don't know who that is, Harry?
No.
We just talked about him.
Is it Brady?
No. Who would you rather have a drink with or hang out with? Tom, Phil.
Oh, Bill Walton.
Bill Walton.
Okay.
How cool is that?
All right.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Fun time never ends here. Tony and Harry. Pretty much spanning the globe today. And there's a lot of content. I mean, we're talking about Phil Jackson, and our good buddy John McMullen, Harry, had the best Phil Jackson line about him talking to the Eagles today on a Zoom session.
Yeah, it was something to the effect, I hope the head coach, Phil Jackson, talks to the Eagles, not the executive Phil Jackson.
Exactly. I'm sure New York Knicks fans feel the same way.
Yeah.
They don't want Phil Jackson calling the New York Knicks anymore to give them any advice.
You talk about a money grab.
Oh,
I mean,
can you blame him?
No.
And he didn't need it. He was
No.
like, hey, the Knicks want to give me how many $1 million to come in here and watch a couple games at the Garden and go out and get some good food in New York City. You know, he's not foreign to New York City. He loves living in Montana.
Right.
But we're going to get Jason Whitlock here in a second because I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about here. I'll ask him the definitive question. Are we over The Last Dance, or will The Last Dance never really end? Like when you go to a club.
Well, I know they had Isaiah Thomas on the other day
Yes.
on their show on Speak for Yourself, and it was pretty good.
Absolutely, because, all the characters were Horace Grant was mad.
Now there's a beef now.
With Horace.
Well, Horace is pissed.
We knew about Isaiah because that never ended.
Right.
A man who knows all of this because he talks about it every single day on FS1. The great Jason Whitlock, got to see him in New York. I used to see him in New York when I worked at ESPN. He worked at ESPN. I worked there. He worked at Fox. I worked there. But he's out in L.A. Are you in L.A. or do you?
Yeah, no, I live out in L.A., yeah.
No, I knew you did. I thought maybe you went back home, but you couldn't get out during the quarantine?
No, L.A.'s been home since 2010. Other than the taxes and this totalitarian governor we got, I love it out here.
Totalitarian. I mean, I think you're a little soft on the guy. I mean, come on, he's much worse than that, Jason.
Well, he certainly thinks he's a dictator. People are ready to get out of the house and get back to living.
Exactly right. Now, we were talking about the last. How far can we take? Because there's not a lot of sports, as we all know. How long can we milk The Last Dance for content?
Look, as long as former teammates keep speaking out, and as long as Jordan keeps taking pot shots at his competitors and teammates, we got nothing better. We got nothing else better to do. So I'm just waiting on Scottie Pippen to finally come out of his cave and give his thoughts. Although I don't think Scottie's got anything to complain about.
No, I hear
it. The documentary treated him fairly, but I'm sure at some point he's going to come out and he's going to whine and cry, and we'll continue talking about it.
If only Jerry Krause was still around.
I know.
Yeah, that would be interesting. There's certainly a side of Jerry Krause's story. He certainly got beat up in the documentary. I tend to side with Jordan and those guys. I guess the sports fan in me would have liked to seen them get one more year and make an attempt at it, and I think it was kind of silly how Jerry didn't want Phil Jackson to remain his coach, but it would be very interesting to hear Jerry Krause's side of the story.
You know, the interesting thing, you see Bill Weddington, and I used to see when I worked in Chicago with Mike Golick at ESPN when we started the morning show, Bill Weddington would always be at the Berto Center. You know, he was doing radio and TV out there. And now all these guys that you haven't heard from in forever, now all of a sudden they're back in the limelight.
Like B.J. Armstrong,
B.J.
guys
Armstrong,
like that.
another great guy.
Yeah, everybody's getting their second 15 minutes of fame thanks to this documentary, and couldn't have come at a better time for those of us that needed sports content to talk about.
Now, it's interesting because we all have opinions, obviously. Guys that played have opinions. But, I see a lot of these guys who are great, great players. And when you hear them talk about the players in the game themselves, it's shocking. You look at guys, obviously Reggie Miller always had an opinion. But then you see guys who are like talking about LeBron and saying, this guy's not better than LeBron. And then you sit back and you say, wow, I'm surprised to hear. Who's the guy it's on ESPN now, and he's been doing a lot of stuff. And he's been wrong on pretty much everything. He dissed one team when they were down and they came back and won. Paul Pierce, that's right. Paul Pierce, the former great Celtic, and he's been talking trash about all these guys, man. Does that surprise you, or is he just trying to get people riled up?
I think, he's trying to be the Charles Barkley of ESPN. And, ESPN's NBA coverage hasn't always been that relevant or that good. And so Paul, just being a little bit of an over-the-top personality, trying to do a Barkley imitation. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, but it's also one of the hardest things to pull off. And Kobe Bryant's the only guy I've ever seen imitate somebody and do it at a high level in a way that it's not embarrassing. And so Paul Pierce is trying his damnedest to be the Charles Barkley, be outspoken and irreverent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
What was the biggest thing that you learned from the documentary, or did you know all that stuff, already?
I wouldn't say I certainly knew it, but I had forgotten a lot. And, you cover so much sports for as long as we have. And you guys, those teams weren't local. I was in Kansas City at the time during Jordan's heyday. And I grew up in Indianapolis, and I'm a Pacer fan. And so I grew up kind of disliking Michael Jordan. I was aware of his greatness, but it was just hard for me as a Pacer fan, a Reggie Miller fan, to enjoy Michael's playing career. So it really wasn't until this documentary that I kind of had a chance to sit back and be like, man, this is amazing what Michael Jordan did, and it's fun following this. But I really did need my memory refreshed because I had totally forgotten what a horrible contract Scottie Pippen had signed.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't know, and this is where I thought the documentary was fair, and maybe Scottie doesn't get it, but, Scottie was kind of a good old boy from Arkansas, from this huge family. Dad is paralyzed. He's got a brother that's paralyzed. And he felt all this economic pressure to sign some long-term deal that really wasn't in his best interest. But when you get his full story like we did in the doc, you kind of understand it. He's a kid from Arkansas, wasn't expected to be some great player, developed late and becomes a great player. And so he's over his head negotiating with the Bulls at that time, and I kind of blame the Bulls for not fixing that contract once it became apparent, wow, this guy is greatly underpaid and he's a big part of our success. But, it's I knew all that stuff, but I had forgotten a lot of it, and it was good to have my memory refreshed.
The great Jason Whitlock and our guy Dale. See, I'm messing this up because our intern, Caleb, who is in Indianapolis, always loves to hear in Naptown referenced in the show. And he wants to know if you were a big fan of Razor Shines back in the day.
Razor Shines, Indianapolis Indians, I think third baseman maybe. Of course, I remember Razor.
Well, here's a kid who's 22 years old, just graduating from the University of Indiana, and he is our intern, so he works from Indy and listens to the show, and he loves when we talk Naptown. But the interesting thing is, I mean, you go back to Market Square Arena, right? I mean, those are the good old days, man. Although I love the barn.
I go all the way back to the Indianapolis Fairgrounds when the Pacers were in the ABA.
Wow.
That's when my dad started taking me and my brother. You know, I go back to Darnell Hillman and downtown Freddie Brown and the Mel Daniels and the ABA Pacers, just as a little kid. That's where my passion for the Pacers started.
Were you buying the Pizzagate story as it was presented?
Not really, and I was glad that the pizza guy from Utah came out and clarified the story, and I think his version of events is accurate, and I think it points you to a direction of Jordan was up smoking cigars, drinking, and then threw a pizza on top of it at 3 a.m, and, you know, having overeaten, overdrank, and having smoked before, that's a bad cocktail. That'll make you sick.
That sounds like me in college every night.
I don't know if anybody intentionally poisoned Jordan as much as he poisoned himself with cigars, booze, and pizza.
Now, let me, because I still have a little journalism left in me in this day and age when there's not much journalism going on. But we had the guy, we didn't have him on. This guy, Craig Fight, is the guy who supposedly worked at the Pizza Hut in Park City and did a bunch of interviews. We broke down the tape, and I have determined that he is an absolute fraud because in one of the cuts from one of his interviews, he suggested he didn't know. He says, I'm here making the pizza. I was the manager, and I don't normally make them or deliver them, but I knew they were in town, and I found out it was from the hotel where the Bulls were staying, and I was making the pizza for Michael, and then I didn't realize it was for Michael. So he pretty much acknowledged he knew the pizza was for Michael, and then in the same cut said, I didn't realize it was taking it to Michael Jordan's room. So I'm going to call that guy a phony, even though it was a nice story, and he got a lot of mileage, and sports talk radio stations around America got to play that up for a couple days. The guy's a stone-cold liar.
I'm not sure if that's a smoking gun. The fact that he knew he was making the pizza for the Bulls, he probably assumed, but was 100%, Michael Jordan was involved. And, you know, Michael Jordan being involved was just icing on the cake. He thought he was making pizza for the Bulls or whatever. I tend to buy his stories. I just don't believe somebody would intentionally poison that pizza. That's just way too high risk.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it was poison. I agree with your story about the booze and the cigar ashes and everything else in the room. I'm not saying the guy from Utah poisoned it. I'm not saying anybody poisoned it. I'm just saying the guy in Utah, there were a lot of, like the Pizza Hut supposedly wasn't open after 10 o'clock or 10:30 in Salt Lake City that night.
Nothing is. If you've ever been to Salt Lake City.
I've been to Salt Lake City. I know that.
Well, Rich Eisen had another guy on who said that he knows the real story. And that sounded, but it was similar. Again, nobody's suggesting
everybody's
that there was
coming. Everybody worked at a Pizza Hut in Salt Lake City back then now. So all these people, that's the one thing. How do you vet these guys?
Well, I can assure you, I've eaten pizza in Utah because I've eaten pizza in just about every city in America. So we know that's factual.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Would pizza in Salt Lake City qualify for one meal Whitlock?
It would, but back in the days when I was going to Utah, it was probably 5-meal Whitlock at that point.
Poor, everybody rips Utah. It's a beautiful place. Pennsylvania's got more repressive alcohol laws than Utah, where you would expect the alcohol laws to be repressive.
But we got better pizza.
Well, definitely we got better pizza here on the East Coast. Everybody knows that, man. Come on. Are you a deep dish guy or are you a thin crust guy?
Thin crust all the way, like my pizza a little overcooked.
Yeah, man.
Crispy,
See?
yeah.
That's the way Michael liked it. He wanted thin, crispy with pepperoni on it. Extra pepperoni or just regular pepperoni?
I'm going to tell you the other thing. I'm big on barbecue pizza. I love barbecue chicken pizza. That's my favorite thing.
No, man, I don't put the bar. I can't do that, man. That's like you don't put pineapple on pizzas, do you?
No, definitely. That sounds way too healthy.
Damn right it does, man. Jason Whitlock breaking it down. So now we got the golf thing. The first one, Harry and I agreed. The guys didn't have any juice, man. All those 4 guys last weekend, they were pretty boring.
The golf course had juice.
Yeah, the golf course was the only thing to watch for. And then doing a sudden death closest to the pin thing. Were you into that at all?
No, didn't even know it happened. Read about it, but wasn't into it.
What about this week with Tiger and Phil and Peyton and Brady?
Yeah, I'll watch. I wish that they had included 2 more groups. I would have loved to have seen Dustin Johnson and Wayne Gretzky and, maybe Brooks Koepka paired with, I forgot, I came up with somebody else, another great athlete that Koepka could be paired with. But, I would have, I'm not
Curry?
sure if just these 4 guys will be enough. If you add 4 more, I think you would have had something. But I'm certainly going to take a look. I mean, those are 4 very interesting, entertaining athletes, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Now, Charles, it's going to be on TNT, so I understand Charles Barkley will be doing commentary, too. And there's a lot of prop bets on, like, will they show Charles's golf swing? Of course they will.
Oh, they're going to show that. Oh, I wanted to see Jordan paired with Brooks Koepka.
Oh, yeah.
And Gretzky paired with his
DJ.
son-in-law.
Yep.
I thought that would have been fabulous. He would have had 4 certified all-time greats out there with some great golfers. That would have been amazing.
Now, Jason, this is Miss Robin. Are you looking more forward to seeing them play or hearing them talk to each other?
Play. I want to see, because one, I think Peyton and Brady are going to be hyper-competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And, the trash talk deal, I'm not that into, guys, unless it's, Deion Sanders or someone like that I think is really good at it. I can't imagine these guys will be that good at talking trash.
Now, since we don't have any baseball players out there, they should have gotten a baseball player so that he could spit on the golf course, knowing that he can't spit ever again if they ever again play Major League Baseball. To me, Mad Dog Russo was ripping into the league and the players, both sides. I'm turning on baseball, and I love the sport. What's your take on this? Because it looks like baseball is putting itself in a position where they have so many stupid rules and they've gone so over the top that it doesn't look like they're going to play at all now. Does it feel that way to you?
I'll say they missed a hell of an opportunity if they don't play and if they allow money and to be a driving force. They will have missed a hell of an opportunity. I mean, just look, we had a NASCAR race on Fox last weekend, 6 million viewers. People are so thirsty for sports, and baseball could jump out here and be a leader and restore some of its relevance and importance to American culture. They will have missed an amazing opportunity, because I think anybody that gets out here and is kind of first and is a leader, is perhaps going to go down in a bit of history because, and I also just think that the country needs it, because our actions the last 2 months have been driven so much by fear, and whoever steps out here and shows a little bravery, a little courage, a little masculinity, I think is going to be a big winner on the other side of this.
I totally agree with you. We're talking with Jason Whitlock. He and that other guy, Marcellus Wiley. So you guys are still doing shows every day, right? You're doing them remotely, though, as everybody else is, right?
Yeah, we've been doing the show since, I think, early March or mid-March, and been doing it from home. Our individual homes. We got cameras set up at our homes. But hopefully here in the next week or two, we'll be back in studio.
So you're going to the Fox lot on Pico?
Hopefully.
Beautiful, man. Jason, last thing, and I want to get into, because everybody gets opinions on especially the NBA. I was mentioning Paul Pierce, and he's like Jordan, and he's like, oh, LeBron's not as good as this guy or that guy. Is this argument going to continue? I mean, if they play and and LeBron wins another title, you can put him into the conversation. Can you argue right now that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan?
Not in my view. LeBron's had just some moments of utter failure and weakness in some big spots. And not to say that he's not a great player, but when you're going up against Michael Jordan, who in the biggest moments, he just doesn't have those major flubs. And I'm talking about LeBron's first year in Miami in that Dallas series, where no one can really explain what the hell happened to LeBron James. Michael Jordan doesn't have one of those type moments. I'm talking about his first trip around Cleveland, where at the end of it in that Celtics series, he basically quit. Those are moments that are going to be hard for LeBron to overcome because Jordan just doesn't have those moments. And I think it's been made crystal clear by this documentary that Jordan is more of a competitor than LeBron James. And look, Jordan's more of a competitor than most people, so that's not a big slight on LeBron. But I think LeBron is a modern-day Wilt Chamberlain, extremely talented, perhaps too talented, and too talented to the point of being quirky, awkward, that he'll just never, in my mind, be able to catch Michael Jordan. Short of him winning 2 more championships, I think it's kind of a silly discussion that, we've propped up because it makes good content and social media loves it, and so we prop it up.
We got a question on our Twitch stream for you. Who was your favorite athlete from the state of Indiana?
From the state of Indiana.
Or who played there or just was
born
there?
It said born there on the question, but from...
Well, look, I grew up with Jeff George, so that's my favorite athlete.
Wow.
That from Indiana. Magic Johnson's my favorite athlete of all time, but I guess if I had to, if I'm pushed, my favorite athlete from Indiana, born there, would be Larry Bird. Great high school player, obviously a magnificent college career, and, one of the 10 greatest NBA players of all time.
Now, people are wondering whether you were being sarcastic there with the Jeff George thing. Are you serious?
No, he's serious.
No, I'm dead serious. Jeff George and I grew up together.
And he's a good dude. A lot of people, a lot of people rip him because of his career, and they think he was a failure, and he wasn't.
He had a hell of an arm, too, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jeff George, he was blessed with too much talent, to be quite honest with you. I mean, he was as big an athletic freak as LeBron James or anybody I've ever seen. Could have been a Major League Baseball star, shortstop or pitcher or third baseman, would have been a first-round pick in baseball. Probably could have played in the NBA as a, shooter or, I'm trying to think, Kyle Korver type, and certainly had the talent to be a great NFL player. But just, things didn't work out. His temperament, and again, having too much talent, I think, probably prevented Jeff George from reaching his full potential.
And finally, the big question of the day, the Dallas Cowboys, 5-year, $175 million, and apparently he wants north of $45 million in the last year, because we know this is all about upfront money, and anything longer than 5 years, you're probably not going to see the back end. What do you think is going to happen with that mess?
I can't predict what will happen, but what I would do is I would move on from Dak. Dak wants too much money. And I'm not even talking about this record contract that he may or may not have turned down. Who knows if that's true? Who knows how much guaranteed money it was? What I do think we know is Dak wants more money than what his talents command. Dallas is the only team. If Dak hit the open market, I don't think there's a team in the league that offers him $30 million plus a year guaranteed. No one does. I think Dak's he's maybe commands a contract slightly better than what Teddy Bridgewater got in Carolina if he's on the open market. Dak's in position with Dallas where he can demand more than that, and they flirted with giving him more than that. They don't seem to be able to satisfy him, and I'd move on, play Andy Dalton, and draft a rookie next year.
Jason Whitlock, we pretty much have covered every single thing, even going back prior to Market Square Arena days in Indianapolis. You don't get that kind of comprehensive breakdown anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
At Whitlock Jason on Twitter. Whitlock, fabulous follow.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Thank you, man. There he is, Jason Whitlock.
Speak for yourself.
I usually speak for myself, and so does he, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying?
You are right, though. His Twitter follow is fantastic.
Great. Yeah.
He covers pretty much everything.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't like Jason Whitlock. You know why? Because he speaks his mind. Mm-hmm. He speaks for himself.
Imagine that.
Exactly right. That's what I do. You know who else speaks for himself? I think Sid Rosenberg sometimes speaks for himself. You got to open him up a little bit. You got to loosen him up a little bit, get him going.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's usually so tight-lipped and shut down.
That's what usually happens. You come on the show, and we get you relaxed enough.
Yeah.
Where you can just let it go.
When he's not yelling and screaming on radio stations, he does it on Twitter. He's doing it right now.
Who, Sid?
Yeah.
He's still going?
Oh, he's still going.
Dude, I'll have some of what he's having this weekend.
He injects it.
Oh, jeez.
You can get some of what he's having if you want.
When we come back, I have had it with these mother women on these mother planes. That's coming up next. If you want to squeeze in a call, 215-462-TONY, 215-462-8669. Thursday, Thirsty, coming right back.
Yo, yo, yo. Meanwhile, let's go back to the phones. Yes, yes, yes. You can call in. The hick from French Lick.
Larry Bird.
That's Larry Bird.
Did you see this fight at the Home Depot in Florida?
It is so weird.
These bros are throwing paint pans at each other.
And there's like hitting each other with a shovel.
This shit was nasty, man. Let me open it up here. This is in Clearwater.
Is it Dean?
Dean is not involved. Dean doesn't go to home. Well, no, actually, Dean's been doing some home improvements.
Yeah, it could have been
What?
one.
Look at this. A guy with a shovel swinging it. There's a dude. Look, they got paint cans, and the one little guy there, he's got a can of white paint, putting it all over the car. This big, monstrous dude. Look, boom, picks up the can.
It's like two older dudes because they have gray hair.
It's like, no, all four guys are old. Dude, throw down at the Home Depot. Oh, wow, man, a big man. We got the mountain man out there. He's throwing hands at everybody, bro. Guy coming in with a nice long piece of there's a guy coming in there with a nice piece of half-inch PVC.
And then I think at the end, one of the Home Depot guys comes over and is trying to and he has paint all over his face, I think. It's hard to kind of tell from a small screen, but there's a definite throwdown.
More doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. What's the line? More saving, more doing.
Tony,
that's the power of the Home Depot.
Do I need to pull anything up? Do I need to pull this up? Or you have the story, right?
Yeah, I have it on my story yesterday.
I reposted it on your text message, so you can get it if you need it.
I got it. I had it on yesterday's sheet. Whole sheet. Other than that,
I don't have the music or the sound clip. Remember you had the bleeped out version of the music or the
yeah,
clip that you
I sent it to you.
Was that yesterday?
It's online. Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's a clean version.
Did you send
I don't know if I
that?
sent it to you. I don't remember now. If it did, it would still be in there. Okay, there it is. The edited version is really funny.
Yeah, okay. It is pretty funny.
You have to stop it, though. I mean, you have to go in a couple seconds.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play it from there because I don't know where to start it, and I can't listen to it right now.
Just play it for 2 seconds. I'll tell you where to stop.
Okay, hold on.
Because you don't need the first couple of words.
We got to clear the snakes out of the cockpit.
Yeah, clear the snakes out of the cockpit. Yeah.
Right there. Stop it right there. That's it. Did you see that video, Dean, of that Home Depot? More throwdowns, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
He says it's not his Home Depot.
I know, he says it's not his Home Depot.
Hey, Ed Nasta, thank you for our, I don't know if you were in the chat room earlier, but we have them. Thank you. We did a What's in the Box segment. And they're going to match. I have a yellow T-shirt. I'll just matchy.
Caleb says that Bird actually went to IU first, but he was homesick and he left and went to Indiana State, yo.
Mm-hmm. Terre Haute.
I ain't no Haute.
Ho. Ace is a place with a helpful hardware store.
Thank you, Rebel Man.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Yes, indeed, kids. Yes, indeed. Winding down another day of excellent broadcasting festivities. Self-proclaimed excellent broadcasting festivities. I'll let the audience decide finally, Harry. And you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on in this world. Most of it's negative, but on this show it's positive. Unfortunately, this show has a combination of positive and negative in this particular story, Harry. It involves the National Football League. And no one was arrested in this particular story. Although someone should have been arrested, Harry. Because we have NFL player, unnamed NFL player.
Unnamed,
Remember
yes.
when we used to have those stories? An unnamed NFL, it was a baseball player. Remember there was unnamed baseball players giving quotes to the media about the steroid era? Unnamed player says, we haven't heard from unnamed players in a while.
No, this is John Doe in the lawsuit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
John, not Jane Doe. John Doe. Not the pizza delivery guy in Salt Lake City, Utah, who worked for a Pizza Hut and delivered to Michael Jordan.
Or the former adult film star who's no longer living.
The great John Doe. I got to meet him, actually.
You did?
Yes. But back to the unnamed NFL player. So an unnamed NFL player has sued United Airlines, Harry. He claims that the airline failed to have not only procedures, they didn't have them or enforce procedures to prevent sexual assault on the plane.
Yeah.
He was on a flight February 10th from LAX, Los Angeles, to New York, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
the red eye.
On the red eye to New York. I've been on that plane many times, and I've never had this happen because I'm usually out cold like a sucker.
You've wanted it to happen. but,
Yes.
you know.
I mean, I would scan the whole crowd and see whether there was somebody I could sit next to once the plane took off and reached the safe distance, and so we can release our seatbelts and move about the aircraft. So he and another player were sitting in the same row, and there was a woman in that same row.
Yeah, she was at the window, I believe.
Yes. From the windows, not to the walls. Apparently from the windows to the balls, as the song used to say. From the windows to my balls.
Lil Jon.
Exactly. See, Harry, now he knows. So he says in the lawsuit that he and the guy next to him complained 4 different times
for being groped
about this woman. The woman was like touching his knee, allegedly, then touching his thigh.
And supposedly there was some alcohol involved. And
well, of course, it's an airplane.
And for those of you who do not know, when you're drinking alcohol on an airplane, it goes to your head much faster because of the altitude. No, absolutely. 100% it's proven.
I can't
Science.
get drunk on a plane.
Now,
well, you can't anyway.
let's continue with the story, Robin. Please.
That's a good song, though, Drunk on a Plane.
Yeah.
So they complained, and apparently they moved the woman to another row.
Right.
But that wasn't. But wait, there's more. So that the woman goes back.
You think that's going to stop her?
And she says, "Hell no! I got to get me some of that." Now, if a guy does this, you know, he's a pig.
Oh, they're going to redirect that flight and arrest him.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're going to throw him out of the emergency exit.
Yes.
But no, the 2 guys were being hassled, but she wanted the NFL player. The other dude apparently wasn't hot enough, but she would have settled for him if he were the only guy left. So then after they complained 4 different times, the woman goes back and then allegedly not only was playing with his knees and the inner thighs, and I like to do that on a plane, you know, if the woman's in the middle seat, you know, because nobody can see it.
Right.
She goes for the genitals. She goes full crotch. And I wonder, I mean, she had her hand all the way open, apparently.
Oh,
this
yeah?
is for, you know, this NFL player.
Right.
This ain't some little slapdick guy with, you know, little round
Doing
glasses.
a radio show.
Exactly right. This ain't some little nerd dude.
He had really big feet, let's just say it.
Playing Fortnite on the plane with Philadelphia Philly great Bryce Harper.
So in other words, United Airlines did not feel that the Me Too movement worked both ways.
So nothing happens. The flight attendants didn't do anything to this woman. It's not like they could arrest her, but they basically, he claims, didn't do anything to stop this advance from this woman.
Well, they said that the 2 guys were further incensed when the airline only offered them vouchers, $150 vouchers.
Voucher?
In response to their complaints about the woman.
That's all you're going to get?
150. Where does that get you? That doesn't get you from L.A. to New York again.
No, you can't even get to Atlantic City from Philly with $150.
That won't cover the parking.
It won't even get you from L.A. to Vegas.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, here's my take on this. This woman, who I have not seen,
it's probably nasty.
Was a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, not nasty in a good way.
Right. Had she been desirable to the guy?
This is a red eye now,
I doubt this guy's complaining at all.
I totally agree.
In fact, they might take it up a notch.
And join the Mile High Club?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
Hey, you know what they say, Harry?
You know what they say.
Yeah.
See a ball to get that booty.
It depends.
And smack him, yak him. Cole got the beat.
I know that in Tony's case, he does not like the sloppy drunk. Like that'll turn him off.
Right.
Well,
I don't care
tipsy's
how
fine.
hot she is. If she's slurring and stumbling around, no way.
Well, she's not stumbling around. She's just sitting in the window seat, grabbing your stuff.
She can still be like doing the lean and like going back, and her head goes back, and it comes forward. You know,
Yeah.
Nothing will turn him off faster than that.
I mean, they obviously weren't in first class.
No.
Right?
Why was an NFL player sitting in a middle seat? That's what I want to know.
Well,
Maybe he was a practice squad guy.
We do have audio, though, right?
We do?
We have tape. Finally, Harry, after the stewardesses, the flight attendants, the stews, as I used to call them, not the 2 live stews, they weren't on the plane. He finally got up and forced the plane to land when he said,
Enough is enough. I have had it with these monkey-fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some freaking windows.
Yeah.
What do you say, monkey fighting
Yes.
snakes?
Yeah, that's a brilliant edit because you know what he really says.
On this Monday to Friday plane.
On this monkey fighting, not the Monkey Fight Club, right?
Yep.
That's the website where you can gamble.
Yeah, Monkey Knife
Monkey
Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight.
Can I hear that one more time? I loved it. That was a great editing job.
Yeah.
Because those were his words. I wonder if he went back and redid it for the clean version instead. Because when they have to play it on television, it has to be edited.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying the MF words, he said monkey fighting. Let's go back to it again, Robin. All right, that's right. Stop it right there. There we go.
This is it.
Here we go.
Enough is enough. I have had it with these monkey-fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Everybody strap in.
They've also used for him Melon Farmer.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, instead of, to substitute for MF, which...
Melon Farmer.
Yeah,
No, I
that
like
was
the
from
monkey
Die Hard
fight.
with a Vengeance.
I like the monkey fighting on this Monday to Friday flight.
I'm tired of these monkey
All right, Aaron, let me
fighting.
put you in. Let's play. Put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a plane. It's a red eye, which I've been on it 1,000,000 times on the red eye.
Right.
L.A. to Philly. I've been on that 1,000,000 times. L.A. to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
You name the L.A. to East Coast overnight red eye. I'm usually out because I have to get up and go back to work.
Right.
But there's a chick sitting next to you. I don't care how hot she is or not. I mean, she can't be a beast. And she starts playing with your inner thigh and touching your knee. What do you do?
Well, I mean, it depends. I do care what she looks like.
Even if you've had it, you're now, like, say you're 3 hours into the flight.
Yeah.
And you had a couple of pops.
Right.
And she says, hey. And she didn't have to say anything. That hand comes down there. I'm not talking about like a priest sitting next to you. I'm talking about a woman.
Maybe I'd act like I was sleeping.
Would you file a lawsuit? Would you complain to the flight crew?
I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. But I would be pissed if they offered me a $150 voucher. That I would complain about.
Now, here's another question.
What about if she offered you $150 cash to let her finish the job? How about that? Huh? Forget about the voucher. How about cash?
All right.
How about if she opens up her hand big?
Anybody got 200, 200, 200, 200? Well, here, 200. 225, 225, 225.
Now, do you already belong to the Mile High Club?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
God, I'm the only
Me
one
too.
here.
Me
it's
too.
overrated.
I do
It is
not belong.
overrated. It's difficult to
I've
do,
not
but
joined yet.
It's nice. It's a nice badge of honor.
Yeah.
Let's go to Trevor in the 203, who's up there in Connecticut, and I guarantee you he's never had this kind of action on a plane. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Trev?
No, but I've never had that action on a flight from Phoenix to New York on a red eye. But if she does want it, let's get the cameras out. send it to Brazzers immediately for some action and some profits right there.
Exactly right, man. You always have to roll. You got to keep the camera rolling, baby.
Absolutely. Though it may be bad filming, but you got to make that money.
Well, see, that's what his buddy should have been doing then. His buddy should have been filming this whole thing with his phone.
Exactly. I don't think he was his buddy. I think it just happened to be another guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was two players.
I thought they're buddies.
I don't know.
That's when you ask your buddy, like, hey, film this, then you get you get some part of this action, of this money.
See, he's thinking.
Well, he thinks because, he works in it. When is your gym going to reopen for soul cycling up there in Connecticut in the People's Republic?
Oh, it's not a People's Republic. It's a Banana Republic.
Same thing.
I've been told June 20th, but I'm not taking any answer from Ned Lamont. I think he's an idiot. He's more of a dictator.
It's an outrage up there. Now, those cycles are how far apart are the soul cycles in the gym?
Oh, I will say maybe a foot.
So you take half of them out, you put them 6 feet apart, and you get the chicks in there with the spandex and the sweat, and you let them soul cycle their asses off all night long, baby.
Absolutely. And those Lululemon, yoga pants. Those are also very great to see, as well as spandex.
That's why God made them.
You don't want to have them cycle their whole ass off. You
No,
want to
no.
leave a little something.
No, when you're cycling that hard, you're working glutes.
We need some cushion there.
No, trust me, you don't lose it when you soul cycle. You get those babies nice and tight and firm, and then you say at the end of the night, great ass! Exactly. Trevor, we got to run, man. Be careful out there.
Man.
All right, brother.
We're on my run. Peace.
Rack that guy. As my buddy Jim Rome would say, we want to thank Camp. Who do we have on today, Harry?
We had Sid Rosenberg.
Sid Rosenberg. How can I forget?
WABC.
And the great Jason Whitlock.
Right.
And a lot of great conversation, good calls, good energy, good vibes, good vibrations. And in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow for our big Friday extravaganza. Lenny Dykstra will be in the house. Well, he won't be in the house. He'll be in his house. In the meantime, don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, and God bless America. It is still the greatest place on earth. See you tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Washing and
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, as long as he doesn't get arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has a countdown.
It's
He has
still a possibility.
It's still a possibility. And this time, this should be correct. So, everybody, we will see you tomorrow. Do not miss out on the show on the Twitch chat room.
I already got a Beards update for tomorrow.
A Beards update?
Yeah.
Well, look, the light from the outside is shining through from the sun, and it's like a shadow on Harry.
In our world here, to live a happy
Look at that, Harry.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays. Did you miss any of the show? Subscribe and download the audio available on all your favorite podcast apps such as iTunes, Spreaker, etc. Hope to see you back here live Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM Channel 211 and Twitch.tv.